Hey, I'm Mr. Rose.
And I'm Mrs. Rose.
Today's topic is about the nuclear family. We're going to start from the beginning. Basically, how you started, where you go to as far as dating, meeting, well, laying eyes, meeting, dating, what comes next after that. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to talk about all that. So if y'all ready, we finna get into it. Baby.
And this is part two.
Well, this is going to be kind of like a series.
Oh,
So
we're going to do that with the nuclear family?
yeah, it's going to be kind of like a series until we get to the end. The end part of the nuclear family.
Okay. I did not
Yeah,
know.
yeah. That's what I'm thinking there.
You didn't share.
I know. I like to be spontaneous. Something my friend Kevin told me.
Okay. I remember you saying that part. Okay. Okay.
So uh, let's start it off with your opinion, uh, Miss Mia,
Yes.
Mrs. Rose. We should be courting. How do you think that starting relationships to start off?
Wait, you said we should be as in men should be courting women?
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Absolutely.
I'm saying courting. Like, what is your definition of starting it out?
After the first initial meetup, or you have to be a little more specific so I can answer the question properly.
We gonna be dating. How does it start?
Well, like you said, first we're gonna be out somewhere. You'll see me, you'll approach me, and we just start up a conversation and start talking from there. And you can kind of, because we know relatively quickly whether or not we like you all. And sometimes we'll meet you and be like, I cannot stand him. Let's say it's a coworker, but you end up being around him so much, and then you start seeing a different side of him, and you're like, well, maybe he's not quite so bad. And before you know it, you're on a date with him. So that can happen too. But
Okay.
you would ask me out, maybe on a lunch date. It doesn't necessarily have to be a dinner date. It can be a lunch date. And what are you doing?
Oh, I messed up my knee
Oh, okay.
doing those
Um,
activities.
we could go out. I cannot with you. We could go out on like I said, a lunch date or a picnic in the park. We can just go. Like, there's a place in California, and we could go there and walk around. One of them is Lamert Park, and we can just go walk around in Lamert Park. The other place that's really pretty to walk around is Larchmont. That's also down in LA. We could go to either one of those. But we could go to the beach, daylight hours, and just walk around and talk and get to know each other. Maybe grab a cup of coffee, and then we just kind of take it from there.
So when it comes to um, intentions on finding somebody to date or dating someone, what is
Hmm.
your intentions?
Um, I don't quite understand the question because so when I was still single,
What's
I
your purpose?
wasn't.
What is your purpose for going on dates or
Oh, the
dating someone?
purpose. Okay, the purpose of dating for me, those are
Yeah,
job
your
interviews.
intentions.
Job
Hmm?
interviews.
For what?
Well, for me to be a wife and for him to be a husband.
Okay, so your intentions on dating is
Oh,
looking
to
for
be married. Yeah.
to be married.
Yeah.
Okay, all right,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that makes sense. Okay, so we can go ahead and bring up Kev. What's up, Kev? We're gonna bring him in.
Kevin.
He's been on the show a few times, and we're gonna
Wait,
get
we
his
have to
opinion on it.
applaud.
Let's get that man a round of applause as we bring him up to the
Woo!
board. Yay, yay! What it do, Big Kev?
What's going
What's
on,
up, man?
Kevin?
Not
Chilling,
too much.
chilling.
What's going on, Miss Mia? How y'all doing today?
Wonderful. How's the fam?
Everybody good. Everybody good. You know, life be life, and you know,
He said, "Life be
life
life,"
be
and yeah,
life.
it
So,
does.
so our first question to you, Kev, is when you're dating, what is your intentions when you're dating? What's your purpose?
Personally, that's what you're asking.
Yeah, you doing dating.
Yeah.
Or did you have a purpose? Sh-
Yeah. Nowadays, the purpose is, I would agree, it's for marriage. It's to uh find someone to help build a legacy and an empire with, to grow with. See if we click to do in order to do that. That's the main goal.
Okay,
So
so at what age did you
Head
figure
southeast
that
toward US
when you
231
started
South.
dating? What was your first? How old was you when you decided, no, I want to date for marriage? That's what I'm dating for. I'm not dating just to be hanging out, going out, kicking it. I'm dating for marriage.
On everything I set out to date for marriage, particularly, right? To be honest, what happened was I kind of always was different when it came to dating, right? Like I didn't want to date somebody who I like didn't have a genuine connection with, and that was kind of by default. It wasn't something that I was consciously thinking about. I just, if I didn't have no connection with you like that, if I couldn't see myself with you long term, I lose interest real quick, real fast. So I knew right then that I was more so built for more of a family structure or something more special or intimate than just your flings or whatnot.
So
can I ask a
technically,
question?
yeah, hold on. Technically, you whether you at the time whether you knew it or not, you were still dating for marriage.
Correct.
All right, go ahead,
Is
me.
that a thing for guys normally to date for
No,
marriage? Okay, I
no.
didn't think so. Okay.
I okay. So to answer my own question, uh, oh wait, the second part of that question, Kev, is how do you when you start dating, what do you do and how do you get to that point where you decide, okay, now I want to marry you, and you ask her to marry you? What do you do from the time you meet her up until a brief synopsis? What's from the time you meet her up until the time you decide to ask her, or you actually ask her, do she want to be married? Will she marry you?
Initially, it's a vibe. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to peep the chemistry, see if we got some kind of chemistry that connect with one another. Um, Not talking to her with an intention. So just making normal conversation like me and you would chop it up. If I could just chop it up with her, that's gonna be my start. Just to, can she hold a conversation? That's the first things first. Um, and then from there is if she compliment me. So if I'm irresponsible, she's responsible. That's not the case. Just giving examples like I'm
No, I
looking
get
for
it.
someone who's going to be strong in areas that I'm weak in. Um, I think that's the best thing to do. At the same time, I'm not gonna say I always follow that model though.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what it's ideally looks like. My personal situation, I was looking for loyalty. I was looking for a woman to be loyal to the situation that we had at hand because I believe that if she was loyal to it, then she would make the necessary changes to make it work. She would always be willing to make it work out the kinks, make things better, grow, things like that. So
Okay.
personally, that's what it was for me.
Okay.
Okay. Another question for you. Was you raised both parents in the household or single mom?
Single mom.
Okay. So my my I wasn't dating for marriage. I wasn't dating for long term. I was dating to get some sex because back in my day, you had to make a commitment or somewhat a commitment to a female before you can even get it. or even touch it a certain way. You had to make some type of commitment. Nowadays they just throwing that out like frisbees. Uh,
Which is
but I think I
sad.
was I think I was maybe uh 25, 26 when I decided that while if I'm a date, I want to date for a purpose. And I had to figure out what my purpose was. And I've always liked marriage. You know, I like the thought and the sound of marriage. So I started dating for marriage. So any female that I was dating, my goal was to see if she was marriage material. Like you said, where do we complement each other? And where we don't complement each other, then we figure something out, work that out or whatever. So yeah, I didn't start thinking about actually dating with a purpose for marriage until my middle to late 20s.
Now, you know what's interesting about what you just said?
Hmm.
First of all, let me apologize for washing dishes, but we just moved into this house, y'all, so things are still upside down and my schedule's still kind of off, so y'all excuse me. Um, you said that when you were dating, you had to find out whether or not she was marriage material, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Do you guys, as men, do you guys, and this is for you too, Kevin, do you ever think about whether or not you're husband material? And I'm not saying that trying to play devil's advocate. I found that interesting because we are given dolls at a very early age so that we can pretend like we're mommies and oh, daddy's gone to work and we're going to take care of the kid. So we're kind of groomed towards being wife material, which I'm not complaining about. I'm just curious as into whether or not you ever thought about to yourself, am I actually gonna be husband material when you're thinking about whether or not she's wife material? Because I always thought about whether or not I was wife material from the time I was a kid. That was always my thing.
Go ahead,
So
Kev. You
I
can answer that first if you want.
My answer is no. I didn't think
okay,
about being husband material, and even to this day, honestly, I don't think I'm husband material. For the standards that are set by society, I don't
okay.
think that I would fit into that mold of husband material. On the other hand, most definitely yes. For what I think a husband is supposed to be, and my definition of a husband, I'm perfect husband material.
Okay,
And
Okay.
well,
I've always thought that
hold on
about
a second.
myself.
That's cool. Okay, hold on. Let's dive a little deeper in that. Okay, what do you think society definition of a husband is versus what you think? What's the difference?
A monogamous man.
That's the only thing.
That's my hang up with it. That's what I'm saying. I think that in order to be married, starting off, you have to be monogamous as far as society sees it.
Oh, and you don't agree, you don't subscribe to that. You feel like a man should not have to be monogamous or shouldn't be monogamous?
Not that he shouldn't be. I think that it shouldn't be off the table. It shouldn't be one way. It shouldn't be that a man has to be monogamous or he's not fit to be a husband. I don't
What
believe
about
Why?
that.
the woman? Does she have to be monogamous on her end?
Depending on the setup, for me, yes.
So you don't have to be monogamous, but she does. Now the question is why?
Simple answer is nature. I think it's natural for a man to not be monogamous, and I don't think it's natural for a woman to be poly.
Okay, Mia, you remember
Yes.
we had this conversation because I like sometimes I wish that I could just turn on a camera that follow us 24 hours, 7 days a week when we walking around or sitting around talking because we be having like major conversations
Yeah, we do.
like big one like this should have been recorded, man.
Yeah,
We had a conversation about men having the opportunity to have more than one wife, or excuse me, you know, more than one partner. And she said, "You really think so?" I said, "I think a big portion, and I'm gonna say maybe 80 to 90% of men, if they had the opportunity to not be monogamous on their side, or have a woman in the house. He has more than one woman in the house that work together and do things together. I think every man would. I not gonna say every. I think there's a big part of men that would do that, like in a heartbeat. And she asked me, "Well, would you do it?" I was almost afraid to say yeah. But I was like, yeah, I would have. Like now, it just women such a freaking headache now. I don't want to be bothered with it. You know what I mean? But Christianity says, the Bible says that God says, a man and a man and a woman leaves their mother and father and cling to one another and become one, not 1+1+1+1. I might have said it kind of a little backwards, but
Yeah.
When we marry, it's me and her. It's him and her. Period. Go ahead, man. I saw your face frown up a little bit.
Well, because I was gonna say you were almost right. It says when a man is to leave his father and mother and cleave unto his wife, not wives. It's not plural, it's singular. And in the beginning, when man and woman was created, God created one man and one woman. It also states when a man findeth a wife, not wives. But then the argument on the flip side of that could be, well, who said anything about having more than one wife? You can have a wife and concubine. And I know back in the day that was something that was practiced. You could have one, two, three, four wives, or you could have a wife and concubines. I believe the Mormon community has it set up to where, not all Mormons, I'm just saying, um, more than one wife. However, you're not allowed to have, and this was even the same thing back during Solomon and David's time. If you had more than one wife, they both had to live equally as well. So you can't have one wife living in a mansion and the other one living in an apartment on the other side of town. No, neither wife is to be hungry. If shopping is a thing that they're allowed to do, then that's something that both wives are allowed to. The
Yeah, we get it. They're supposed
finances,
to be treated equal.
yeah, you got to have enough money and whatnot to be able to care for both. They get equal amounts of time. All of that stuff gets split. And even then, I don't think that was God's setup. I think that's how it was done. But we all know God makes a plan, man gets a hold of it, and then he perverts it. But you also have the argument on the other side of that coin. What about those who are not Christian, who don't subscribe to the word of God? You know,
Well, I mean, like I've heard a lot of people talk about it, and yeah, I
Kevin, you
mean,
look lost.
I look lost.
No, I said Kevin looks lost.
Oh no, not at all. I'm following you well today.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
So, but even so, like you said, man get a hold to it and he perverted. But it really was a status thing that the men had concubines or extra wives. Like you said, you have to be able to afford
Hmm.
any other woman you bring into your stable.
Stable.
No, that's no, that's
I
pimp
know it's a
talk.
derogatory term, but okay, I'm a play nice.
Yeah, any woman you bring into your marriage, you and so technically before marriage was a thing where you had to stand in front of a judge or whatever the case may be, and all your friends and family, and you say these vows and everything. The point was, if you had sex with a woman, she was yours. Period.
Oh
You had
yeah,
to take care of her,
yeah.
right? You had to take care of her. Um, and there was nothing beside it. You had to take care of her. That was your job. So if you didn't want to have sex, if you didn't want to take care of her, you couldn't have sex. And then when I say it was a status thing, you didn't see that amongst the the broke or poor people that couldn't afford it that had wives and concubines. I didn't say that they still wouldn't run around out there tapping something behind their wives' back, but if you cannot afford it, you cannot have sex. But today is just, it's just wow. I mean, like, I made a comment. And I'll probably make this comment every show I do. I made a comment that there's a lot of women out here that said they don't need no man. And I think those women that say they don't need no man, shouldn't no man deal with them.
Okay.
If you go to
Go
this
ahead.
job, if you go to this job and Kevin owns the business and you're one of them women that say, I don't need no man, I don't need to hire you then.
Well,
I'm a man, so you need me to get a paycheck. And all these dudes that's subscribing to these OF pages, they need to stop doing that, because these are the same ones that say I don't need no man, and they making 6 and 7 figures off of OF.
Okay, now I wanna touch bases on what you just said about the OF, but I want to give Kevin a chance to respond um on what we just said about having more than one spouse. I kind of want him to be able to, and I'm as a matter of fact, where's my phone? Go ahead, Kevin.
Okay, I appreciate that. What were we answering when you say what part you want me to address?
Just what I was saying as far as because you said you feel like it's nature as far as men being um I'm gonna say promiscuous, because if we were, I don't know another word to use, or if a man is trying to commit to more than one woman or sleep around or have more than one family. So maybe promiscuous is the wrong word.
Yeah, I don't like that
I'll,
word because that's a negative connotation.
yeah, so I'll take promiscuous off the table, because you know what, in the Mormon communities, when they have more than one wife, for them, because of their religious beliefs, that's not a promiscuous thing.
Correct.
So yeah, I apologize for using that term. You're absolutely right. But I just kind of wanted some feedback from you based on what you said, and then my response to you as far as the scriptures and whatnot.
Okay, let's go there. Let's talk about the Bible, because you made a great point that everybody doesn't subscribe to the Bible 100%, if any percent at all. I'm one of the ones that doesn't subscribe to the Bible. I don't subscribe to religion. I believe in God very much so. I believe in a source. I believe in a higher power. I believe that there's something more than myself that created us. So I'm not an atheist by far. I don't deal with religion. I believe religion is a part of separation that just divides us. Everybody fighting to know the 100% truth, when if you're being truthful, you would say that you don't know what the 100% truth is. It's just what you believe, right? You're very convicted on what it is that you believe, but nobody was actually there to take the accounts of what happened. That's like you and D writing a book about what happened, about an incident at your house, right? And I just
Mm-hmm.
read the book and I believe what the book says, and I'm convicted that the book is the truth, right? Well,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't make it true. I wasn't there to actually see what happened and write my own account. So I'm taking someone else's account. So if we could be fair on that sense, this is why I say I don't subscribe to it 100%, right? Is there some
Mm-hmm.
great stuff in the Bible that's true, that I follow and that I think is good counsel or good scripture? Of course. That's like any book though. I could give you more than one book that describes marriages 3 different ways. Well, which one is right? Everybody's gonna, whoever's convicted to whichever book is gonna say that that source or that resource is correct. So with that being said,
Okay.
you would have to believe in the religious part or the Bible, so to speak. And if we go in there, then I don't like to just use one aspect of the Bible. Yes, it speaks about one husband, one wife. It started off with one man and one woman. It also speaks about kings and holy men having more than one wives. So
Hmm.
in my response, how would you respond to those who had more than one wives and it was ordained by the Most High?
I'd have to actually go through it and see, because I know Solomon had more than one wife, but oftentimes God will allow what we allow. And again, I think for that time period, that's just because there was a time if you got married and your husband died, and some kind of way the brother, again, I'd have to look into it a little deeper. The brother of your husband is now obligated to take you on as his bride. And I don't think it mattered whether or not he had a wife. I don't know if it's whether or not you and your
Okay, so if you
husband
don't
had
know,
children
listen.
or.
So what we gonna do is, if you don't know 100%, let's try not to get it until we know 100%, because I don't want to speculate.
All right, well, what you said right there, Miss Mia. Why do certain things change when it comes to the Bible? How you said that that was for that time, and then other things stay absolute.
I think it depends on what whether or not you're in the Old Testament or the New Testament. And no one is, because the Bible was actually written, like you said, by man, but it was written with the inspiration of God. That's where the inspiration came from to write the Bible.
Well, how easy is that to say, right? I could write something right now, and I could pray before I do it, and I could feel like I got inspired by God to do something, right? Would that
Hmm.
make it automatically inspired by God? This is what
It
I'm
depends
saying
on what
about
you're
when we come.
saying.
Well, see, that's what I mean. Like, who determines whether or not it really is ordained by God or not? Who makes that final choice? Just
The
because someone said, once again, we weren't there for the actual account. This is what someone said they were inspired by God to say, right?
I
uh-huh.
think people. I think it should be one or the other. If you're gonna believe in that Bible, believe in the Bible. Don't cherry pick. If you're gonna cherry pick, then I don't think you need to believe in the Bible, whether you think the stories are good or not. I think you shouldn't. You shouldn't. Well, because there are some things that changed from the Old Testament and went into the New Testament that changed significantly. Like, for instance, you know, the first fruits or whatever was cattle and stuff. You know what I mean? And then now first fruit is what you supposedly what you earn for the New Testament, what you earn, but that's not really your first fruit. Your first fruit can be your time of the first time of the day when you helping other people do something, going out and feeding people. That can be your tithes. It's not saying it has to be cash.
Well, the thing is, your first, that's all your first fruit meant. It meant, because usually the first fruit is the best of whatever. So you
Yes.
want to give God the best of whatever it is that you have.
Right. So
Yeah.
so as far as that, but then there are a lot of things that's in the Old Testament that's in the New Testament that are exactly the same. So this is why I didn't want to get into a Bible conversation, because we know everybody thinks differently, and I mean
I'm
we
just
can
not well versed enough on it to be able to
right we
speak
we can have a show
intelligently
where we can
enough
dive
about it.
deep into the Bible, and we can
Yeah.
just have a Christian topic that day. You know what I mean? But
Okay. I
when you
should
talk
be,
Well,
but
about
I'm not.
this what we
go
was
ahead.
talking about a little while ago, D, when me and you was talking, right? And we was talking
Yeah.
about taking God or the Bible out of it, right? And I was
Mhm.
like, why is it so difficult for people to take God or Bible or the religion out of it when they're just having a normal conversation, right? We tend to go back to the Bible as if everyone subscribes to that. And you were saying you can't take God out of it even when you try to. So even in this conversation, do you think that that's true in this conversation, that you try to take
No, no,
God out of
I,
this
I,
conversation, but you can't take it out of it? Because I think you
yeah, yeah,
can,
no,
but what you
no,
think?
I don't think you can. I think I guess it really depends on what you believe in. Like, when people say I believe in a higher power, what the hell is a higher power, nigga? I mean, you just don't want to call it God for some reason. This
No,
is
we
what I've
call it
asked
God.
people,
You can call it
right?
God, higher
Or
power,
the
the
people say,
source.
yeah, or people will say, well, it's the universe. okay. I mean, come on, man. I mean, it's got to make sense when we're talking. Like
I mean, what
people
don't
don't.
make sense about it? What you saying that don't make
Because
sense about it?
people don't subscribe to the Bible, but then they say I believe in God or I believe in a higher power or I believe in a universe, or you get some ignorant woman that say God is a woman. You know what I mean? And uh what it is morals, okay? So there's a talk of morals, right from wrong. We know right from wrong. Where did you get the sense of right from wrong? Even when dating, do you think sex should be held off until marriage?
Well, then we get into the conversation of what's marriage, right? Because I don't believe in a contractual marriage. I don't see anything natural about that, nor do even though I don't fully subscribe to the Bible, that doesn't mean that I'm not studied in the Bible, right? So I haven't seen anywhere in the Bible or come across any verse that speaks of a contractual marriage. Once again, you said it earlier. Once you have
Oh, it's
sex
in
with a
there.
woman, that was considered marriage. So,
Yeah.
what marriage are we considering? The social construct, because there's nothing natural about the social construct of religion or marriage, right? These are things that were created by society. Naturally, there was no courthouse to go to for Adam and Eve to come and get a piece of paper signed. So, what validated their marriage? What constituted their marriage?
Her coming
So
from his
so
rib.
yeah, hold on. So your marriage is not contractual? You just say you married?
Correct.
So you didn't go to court, do no papers or nothing. So there's nothing on file saying that you guys are husband and wife.
There's nothing on their file, I guess, if that's what you're saying, that says we're husband and wife according to how they want you to do it, to the, once again, social construct, right?
Right, but
But
you said not their file. So what file is it? Something that you and her put together for yourselves?
correct.
Okay. Okay.
Right. So I believe that marriage is an agreement between two people to grow together, be loyal together, and seek their purpose and their higher self, and they're committing to do this with one another. That's the commitment of a marriage. The marriage is not the ring, it's not the paperwork, it's not you coming home saying I love you, baby, every day. It's not the wedding. It's not none of that. That's all the show. That's all for show. That's all for someone else. That has nothing to do with the bond that you and this other person share and that y'all committed to do in front of the most high God, Jesus, Allah, Buddha, whatever what may have you. You know what I'm saying?
I think like everything else, things things over time evolve, right? Like we didn't have computers
Right,
before. But
right,
computers, there's a lot of negativity when it came to computers, and there's a lot of positivity that came from computers. Same thing with the marriage. I think there were some good things that came out of you having to sign a paper and it be legit to make decisions and do different things that you can get, that you can't get, or you can get out of your wife or your husband. Now, everything in this world people has done good for, somebody has turned it around to make it evil or bad. That's why the divorce rates are so high. There's a no fault divorce. Your woman could just say, I'm bored as hell and I don't want to be married anymore. And because she took care of your kids and she stay home, she deserves half of your stuff. Well, I can understand you getting half of my stuff if you're leaving me because I did something that I wasn't supposed to do, not because you bored or you mad because you couldn't get what you wanted. So the paper and the financial and the standing up, doing all this, I think that saved some people in the beginning. Now I'm kind of with you on that. If I don't have to have paper, I wouldn't have got paper.
see the things that I say when it comes to marriage, right? Um, a lot of people it take them by, I guess, shock at first, right? When you break it down and when you unpack it, what I'm saying makes a lot of sense, though, right? And a lot of people would prefer to operate this way. Being honest, though, they just got sucked into the social constructs. They got
I
sucked
think
into
that's a
what
no. I
society. Go
Right.
ahead.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but listen, I think the contract and the paper is. I think that's a stronger commitment to me. It's kind of like, you sign up for college, and if you don't finish college, the money that you got to pay back. That's a stronger commitment. That's not something you could just get up and walk away from because I'm just done with it. Even with divorce, you can't just get up and walk away.
Of
There's
course you
things you
can if
have
you got the money.
no,
If you
But
got,
it's
long as you
still
got the
it's
money.
but
what
it's
I'm
still
saying
a
is
process.
there's still a process. Like, you're not married by on paper. You can get up, pack your shit, leave, and go. And there's nothing she really can do about it. There's nothing you
Either
can
one of
do
them.
about it. If she decides you come home one day, all your stuff is gone because she got
What's wrong
tired.
with that? What's wrong with
That's a
that?
lot wrong with that.
I'm
Can I
listening. I'm trying to
can
find out
I
what's wrong with.
can I
Of
interject
course.
right quick?
Go ahead.
So do you have, because I know they're children, but do you have like your own set of your own biological children, or are they just hers?
I have one son. She has two daughters. So together we both have three.
You have three together. Okay. Who is your next of kin?
Besides her,
No, no, no. Who is your next of kin?
my wife, and then my son.
Your wife is not, she is not your next of kin. Your son is your next of kin, sweetheart. Anywhere you go in the United States of America, because you are not legally married, she is not your next of kin. Your son is. So in the event that something happens to you, everything goes to him, and she's just left blowing in the wind, unless you have like
A
what do they
will
call,
or
a will and a last testament
There
and
you
all that
go.
kind of stuff.
So that kills that. So you no longer need what you consider a marriage certificate or what you just called a legal marriage, long as I have a will. That's what I was saying about
But
paperwork on file
why would you have a will? For what?
for
that's
to
you.
to avoid what you just said. That
But you
that
Right,
didn't
doesn't
but
give
leave her
in
in the.
no, I know
Go
you
ahead.
just took
you're not a
one. You
part
just took
of the
one.
social
Listen, you took one
construct
legal. Hold on, Mia. You took one legal thing and replaced it with another.
with another
No,
legal thing.
right. But what I'm saying is a marriage certificate is different from a will.
I understand that, but
So
because
yes, I
I'm
did replace it with one legal thing to
What's
another,
the
but they
difference?
don't.
What's the difference?
What's the difference between a marriage certificate and a will?
no, no,
Yeah.
no, no, no. What's the
That's
difference
not
with you
that's
giving
not what
up?
you're trying to ask.
No, no, no. He's trying
No,
to
that's what
find
I'm
out
trying to ask. I know what the hell I'm asking, nigga.
what's the difference between this societal construct and you doing this societal construct. Because either way, you're
Because
still
when I
having
leave,
to conform to the societal construct in some form or
because when
fashion.
because if either one of us wanted to leave, we would be able to do that without hassle. A marriage certificate binds you to a marriage. It's a contract. A
Right.
will is not binding me to the marriage. It's only thing it's doing is it's allowing her to be a power of attorney, so to speak, my next to kin, so to speak, to move on my behalf in case anything was to happen to me or if anything was to happen to her. I can move forward with her best interest at heart. She can move forward with my best interest at heart with a will. With a marriage certificate, is not the same. It doesn't operate or constitute the same things that a will does.
No,
That's the difference. That's why I'm saying to
okay.
Damon when he asks what's the difference. That's why I say that's not what you're trying to ask me because you definitely know that there's a difference between a will and a
Yeah.
marriage certificate. You know that.
Okay.
Right,
So
but the only difference to me, it just vice versa. What you said, it just makes it easier for you to leave
Mm-hmm.
for not having a marriage license contract. It's just easier
correct,
for you to. You just make the
correct,
situation easier. But to me,
correct.
having a marital contract, yes, you work for this. There's something to work for.
Okay, now I have a question for you, Mr. Rose,
What?
because you said that if you could do it differently, you agreed with him and you said you would probably do it differently.
Correct.
No, I said if it wasn't something that was considered a necessity for having to have papers, and we could still do everything the same as if we was having papers, I don't see the reason for having it.
You can't.
Okay,
So you can. That's
so
what I'm
it's
explaining.
You can't.
that's what
You can't.
yeah, so you said you would do it that way. But then at the same time, if you would do it that way, how can you now defend the Constitution of marriage when you're saying that you agree with what it is that Kevin is doing?
If I can do the same thing without having to sign no papers, without having to make a will, and you didn't have, if I passed away and you can still get all my stuff and everything, and you can still make decisions for me, there's no reason to sign papers.
You
There's no
could.
reason. But the reason to sign papers is a stronger bond, a stronger commitment, and because the law says I'm not married to you, you can't make the decision for to pull the plug on me if I'm ready to go. You
But
can't
it
tell
doesn't
me.
mean a stronger commitment, though, D. How does a paper mean a strong commitment? You just made it harder for me to leave. So now you bind me to
That
it. But
makes you
if I want to,
that's gonna make you work. It's work. I
I'm
don't
gonna
think
work
people start
anyway.
calling
I'm
marriages
working
anymore.
anyway. I'm probably working harder than the average married couple. Is because I'm looked at like my marriage isn't legit, right? So I'm working on that end. Plus, I'm working as the marriage itself. So I'm probably working double. You know what I'm saying? Than the other marriage. So it
We
doesn't.
what
The paper doesn't mean that you're gonna have a stronger bond. That's my point.
Wait a minute, because you just said a minute ago that it did.
No, I didn't ever say that the paper makes a stronger bond. I haven't ever said that, and I'm saying it again to be clear. The paper doesn't create a stronger bond. The bond is between the two people. They decide how strong or weak the bond is going to be, with or without the paper. If you want to leave, why should I make it hard for you to leave? That's the only thing the paper is doing. And now you get to take half my money, or I get to take half yours, and we have to split the kids' life up into a pie graph, and you get them on this day, and school is with you, and medical is with me. Why does it have to be like that? We can have an agreement, right? The agreement is, hey, I want to be with you. Do you want to be with me? Yes, I do. I want to grow old with you. Would you like to grow old with me? Yes, I do. I want to go through the ups and downs of this life and my life's journey with you and grow in the Most High, in God, in Jesus, and Allah, and Buddha. And I want to walk this journey with you. Would you like to do the same with me? Yes, I would. That's it. That's
right.
the
And then
bond.
2 years into that, yep, I'm tired. I don't want to do that no more.
Then you get to walk away. You're free to change your mind. That's okay.
So
It's not a
so
sin
without
to change your mind.
but it's not without the courts, without the paperwork. Most men don't even see their kids anymore after they done got after if you're not married. Marriage, I can go to court and you have to let me see my kids. We have to put an order together because every woman out there is not sensible, man. You've seen. I know you got friends you've heard about how hard it is for them to see their kids and they wasn't married.
Because they did it wrong. Y'all did it wrong. That's
How
why.
do we do it wrong?
Well, number one, you trusted on the government to make sure that you see your kids. You shouldn't have done that. You should have
No,
trusted
I
on the
didn't.
bond that you.
I
Yes, you
didn't.
did
I
when you
trust
just said.
no,
Well,
bro. I
Let
trust.
me explain what I said. Let me explain what I'm saying when I say that. When you say, if we're married, we have to go to court, and you have to legally, where see, you're depending on the courts to make sure you see your kids. I'm not. I'm depending on the relationship that me and the mother of my child has to be able to see my kids and make decisions in my child's life according to the bond and the understanding that me and her have. That's why I'm not on any court appointed child support. Me and my
Oh
baby
my.
mama don't argue. We're not fighting, and my son lives with me, and we co-parent peacefully. That don't mean that we don't have life, but for
Hmm.
the most part, we're able to do it cordially, right? And that's what I mean when I say y'all did it wrong, right? Because I had
But you
everybody in my
still haven't
family. Go ahead.
explained. You still haven't explained how I did it wrong. I talked to the same
I
female. We
just
had the
told.
same bonds. We had the same understanding. We had kids. She got pissed off. She left. I don't see my kids. That's
Yeah, because you
most
did
men
it
don't do
wrong.
that. How
You did. If you
how
would,
did I do it
you
wrong?
you didn't cultivate the bond correctly. That's what you did wrong. I can't tell you how. I wasn't there, right? So I can't give you the how. I can
You
tell you
can't
the
tell me
what.
I did it wrong.
Well, I mean, it's only my opinion now. I mean, we're not making
My,
my
so
opinion law.
my opinion to you is, dude, you found a woman that was willing to work with you no matter what happened at the end.
So
I have one
basically,
now. I have one now.
Kevin and the your son's mother, the two of you made a decision that you love your child more than you hated each other or
We never
disliked each other.
it wasn't ever a hate for sure. And yes, most definitely.
Okay.
That's what's most important. And I'm the leader. So once again, I led us to this situation, right? Because if it was up to her, I would be on child support, right? We would be arguing, fighting, and bickering. But I had to make a conscious decision to do it a different way. So that's what I mean. When I say that y'all did it wrong, right? I'm only taking that shot because I was doing it wrong. And when I figured out what I was that I was doing wrong for my personal situation, once I started to correct that, things started to get better on the other end. So now the accountability came back to me and my leadership. So when I say y'all did it wrong, you led wrong. That's my consensus.
So here's the question for you then. What did you do that turned out to be, and you can't say I led. How?
Okay.
What was said? What was agreed upon to where you're not in court and you can still see your kid without no problems?
All right, let's say the first thing. First thing is money, right? Let's go to finances. Economically, she wanted more money than I wanted to give, right? So the first thing I said was, no, I'm not going to give you that. Let's meet in the middle. Let's come to a common ground. That's the first thing I did. I got the finances straight, right? So then now once we had an agreement when it came to the finances, then I went to a no arguing policy. We're not arguing. We're not fighting, right? That's what I did just for step one and step two. That's what I did. And I
Can I play
implemented it.
devil's advocate?
So,
Of course.
So your son is 15?
Yes, sir.
So in 15 years, she never asked you for more money?
Yes, she's asked for more money. In the 15 years, she's asked for more money. Yes.
And you gave it to her?
No.
So whatever you was paying when y'all first agreed, you still paying that?
No.
No, I'm not paying anything now. My son lives with me. Yeah. So I'm not paying anything.
Let me rephrase that.
Okay.
Up until your son started living with you, right? Somewhere between the time you agreed upon what you was gonna pay her, until the time your son lived with you, you said yes, she's asked you for more money. Did you ever give her more money than what you were giving her the whole time? So let's say y'all agreed on $200.
Yes.
That's it. You've never given her more than that.
No, that's not correct. Yes, I have given her more than that, as when the situation required for that, right? When he was 2 years old, it doesn't take $600 a month or $600 a week to suffice for a 2-year-old. But as he's getting older, 12, 13, shoes cost more, food bill is higher, things of this nature. So yes, we have to work out an amount that's decent and fair for the both of us. It's not killing me, and it's enough to help you out on your end. And see, my main thing was, though, we split things down the middle. We went 50-50 on the baby, right? So all of his finances, it doesn't matter what it is, my house or your house. If he needs a laptop and the laptop stays at your house, right? 50%. How much is the laptop? So I was able to work it like that. Plus, I would shoot her a little extra for a little extra, whatever that was, for the food or clothes, or well, not clothes because that was 50-50, but like food. Maybe her light bill went up a little bit, or things of that nature. And even we had some discrepancies when it came to that, but that's more so how my situation worked.
Okay, now I'm gonna jump in and play devil's advocate.
Okay.
We have a 2-year-old, and I tell you, I want $600 a month for him. Your response to me is what?
What is the $600 for?
For me to take care of your son. What you think it's
I'm
for?
saying no. Break it down numerically, right? You don't just get to throw a number out there.
I just broke it down. I had your son is $600 a month.
No, it don't work like that. Sorry.
So what you telling me is you're not gonna give me a dime?
I didn't say that. That's not what I said at all. I said I'm not gonna give you six.
How much are you gonna give me?
How much does his expenses cost?
$600. I just told you that.
$600. I'm saying you would have to break that down to me.
He got
He
to
needs
eat.
to.
I got bills. It's $600.
Okay, but I don't pay your bills and I don't pay for your food in your
So
house. I have
basically,
my
what you
own
telling me
house.
is you're not gonna give me the $600 a month.
I'm not giving you the 600 a month.
Okay, I'll see you in court before you get to see your son. Bye. Click.
Okay, and I sign my rights over, right, to whomever you would like for to be his dad before I let you think you can run my life just because you had a child by me.
You ain't gotta sign
So,
nothing over it. Just disappear. I'm cool with it. Deuces.
Okay. Now
well then, uh,
stop. You,
No, because when I was wait. The
wait,
reason
hold on, baby, hold on. You see what she did?
yep.
A big percentage of men having kids go through that type of attitude. So when
That's for
you
sure.
say we did it wrong, you didn't have that type of attitude coming from that. And if
That's
you
an
did,
assumption.
it wasn't.
That's an assumption. You
Let
assume
me
that I
finish.
didn't have that. Okay.
Let me finish. I don't think you had it that bad, and if you had it, it wasn't that bad, right?
That's an
Some
assumption
women,
again.
right? So you had it that bad? You had it that bad?
You don't
And
even
your
know the
authority
have.
just checked it. And
Yes.
your
You don't know
authority
the
just checked
have.
it. And she was
I've
just
been to
jumped in
jail.
line.
I've been in jail, not to exaggerate, 3 to 5 times about this whole situation. So when you say had it bad, you're assuming I didn't have it that bad. That's what I'm saying. You don't know that I didn't have it that bad. You're just assuming from what I'm saying to you. But I'm telling you that that's the only way I can tell you or anybody else and be convicted, in my opinion, that you guys did it wrong.
can I
Right?
finish, y'all?
Of course.
I was gonna say your situation, even though it may have been bad in the beginning, she eventually relinquished and said, okay, let's just go ahead and try it another way. And that worked out for you. I feel like
Correct.
your situation is more of the exception than the rule. Not saying that your situation is impossible, because you can't be the only one that's got it. I got along with as a matter of fact, when I went to court about child support for my children, he asked me, can you go down at least $50? At least he said, can you do me that favor? I said, sure, because I wasn't trying to gouge him. So again, I know women like that exist, but again, that's the unicorn situation. That's not the norm.
Well,
That's why
it's
I was
only
trying to
not the
explain to
norm.
you.
Go ahead.
That's why I was trying to explain to you. It's not the fact that we did it wrong. You just found a way that worked for you. And my
She went along with it.
my kid's mother, I went to court and everything and got a court order and all that, right? During COVID, everything was shut down. You know what she did? She packed up and moved just before COVID hit
To another state.
to
Yeah,
another
but
state.
I'm still sticking to you did it wrong, D. You didn't cultivate that relationship. You're the leader. So however that relationship ended up, ultimately, that's your fault.
Yeah,
As
you
the
can't lead
man,
nobody that don't want to be led, homie. I can't.
I well then it was
I
your
can't.
fault. It was your fault for having kids with her. Either way, it come back to you. You don't. We don't get, as men. We don't get to escape that. See, I'm putting
Yeah,
myself in that boat.
no.
I'm not singling you out. I'm saying I
Yeah.
dealt with this too,
Oh, I'm
right?
not taking it as you singling out. I'm just telling you my side of the story. After the first kid, yeah, it's all my fault from the rest on because she was doing it right. We was doing good. I had everything in check. Everything was lovely, but I made a statement and a comment. Went to jail, came back. She was a whole different woman. She wouldn't listen for shit, no matter what I did. So in order for me to see my kids, I had to kind of bow down. That's where I felt like I messed up at.
So
Right?
you
Because
even
I wanted
just
to
so
be
you just so you just
no,
admitted it. You admitted what I said, that you did it wrong. That's what
no,
I
I
mean.
did not. I did not. You
Okay.
saying it's ultimately my fault because I'm the leader, I'm the
Yes.
man. It's not ultimately
Yes.
my fault. I made
Of
decisions
course.
that were wrong in that situation, but you can't lead
Okay.
anybody that don't want to be led. You can't talk to. Even the Bible says you rather be on the top of a mountain than be in a rooftop than to be in a house with a contentious wife or a contentious
Contentious
woman.
woman, yeah.
That's what the
Um,
Bible say, but I believe that if you're in the house with a contentious wife, she's not contentious for no reason. That's what we getting at, right? So if you got a bitter baby mama, she's bitter for a reason. And when as me as the leader, it's my job to analyze and see, okay, why is it that she bitter? What did
You
I
do
Because
do?
know,
I don't want to be
Okay.
with her.
you do know if you're not my husband, you ain't my leader.
Baby,
Yes.
we right.
Okay.
Okay, but so
No, no, I
she's
mean
bitter.
as
No,
far
no,
as
no,
them
hold on,
not
baby.
being
She's
together
bitter
anymore.
and upset because I don't want to be with her.
Right. So you chose a woman, right, to have a baby with that you didn't want to be with. Whose fault is that?
No, I said she's bitter because she doesn't. Yeah, because you're right. So in the beginning, like I told you, I made a perfect decision. I didn't have no back talk. I didn't have no issues. I led my household. We really moved forward when I ran our household. You understand what I'm
Okay.
saying? We had a
All
kid.
right.
We lost the kid. Then we had another kid. And then something was said, and I went back to jail for something else. And when I got out, she became a whole different woman. So I tried to put that back in order, not trying to get her back who she used to be, to understand where she's at. But this is not what I'm going to tolerate. We've been through this before. We're not finna do this. And if you can't abide by that, then there's no reason for us to be together. Right? That's me putting my foot down, me leading to the point. And it wasn't that I chose a contentious woman, she turned into a contentious woman because other people were in her ear also. Girl, you ain't got to take that. Girl, you ain't got to do this. Girl, this, that, and the other. I'm
All
in
of
I've
this
jail
dealt
for
with
never
that
happened.
too. I've dealt with that too, right? At the same time, when I've dealt with that, I can admit that that's because my bond with her wasn't all the way tight like it should be because of decisions, poor leadership at the time. That's what I'm saying, D.
I
If we
don't.
being honest,
I'm
Wait,
sorry. There's no
according to
way
the
you can
scripture,
get
but
me. There's no way you
Poppy,
can get me to believe it's poor leadership or it's all a man's fault because you can't be responsible for somebody's behavior up to a point. You could just have a person that's just real fucked up in the head, man, and they want to
watch
do
your
what
mouth,
they want
babe.
to do.
I just don't want the video to get taken down. That's the only reason I said that. Um, remember the success or failure of a marriage, like it or lump it, that God's going to you because you were the one in charge. You're the head.
that's
Right,
That's in
correct.
a
God,
that
right,
hang on.
God is
That's in a marital situation. I can't speak on anything else that's not a marital
in a marriage
situation. So I don't.
situation.
Yes.
If God comes down and the marriage fail, he's gonna hold me responsible for the marriage fail, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
That's
Okay,
that's all I'm saying.
I don't think that's accurate. I think
Okay.
as long as a man do what he's supposed to do in a relationship as a husband, and your wife doesn't listen, doesn't want to do what she's supposed to do, no matter what you say or how you do it, I'm going to be held responsible because I did what I was supposed to do. I did
Okay.
everything that I was supposed to do, even if it's biblically. I did it all. So when we go up and sit up in front of God, God's not going to go to her. Well, I understand why you messed up because he's a leader. So regardless of whether he was leading right or wrong, it's not your fault. No, he's not going to do that.
I didn't say that he wasn't going to hold me accountable for my actions. What I said was the success or the failure of a marriage, ultimately, that responsibility falls on the husband because
I,
you
I
are
don't.
the
Period.
leaders.
I don't see that.
It's kind of like in the military, the CO, who is the commanding officer. If one of his privates screw up, the higher ups, they're not going to that private. They're coming to chew his butt out. Because why didn't you have your people in line? That's just how that work.
That's
Yeah, I don't.
period.
Yeah, I don't
But you
see how
say,
that works like that because
but you saying it, but you saying that, D. But don't you? Then you say you also believed in the Bible and you subscribe to the Bible.
but
So
I
let's
don't I
let's.
didn't I haven't read anything in the Bible that says that I'm held responsible if the marriage didn't work or if it worked or failed.
All right, let
I
me
haven't
give it
seen
to you.
anything in the Bible with
I'll
that.
work on that. I'll work on that while you talk. Go ahead.
Okay, so I wanted to go back about something we were talking about earlier when Damon, when I think you were the one that brought up OF
Hmm.
and whatnot. So the difference I think today, so back in the day, there was, there was Penthouse, there was Playboy. These women weren't being paid real money. They were getting some money, but they weren't getting paid what the magazines were making off of their photos. So OF kind of cuts out, or not kind of, it eliminates the middleman. And I can't remember why I was bringing that up, but you had mentioned OF earlier. And I just wanted to make that point, which is why you probably have,
No,
because that's the oldest profession known to mankind.
yeah,
That's not new.
I
I
got a
know, but
Bible verse for you.
okay, give it to me.
All right, you got Ephesians 5:25 says, "Love your wives. Husbands hold the key to flourishing marriages." Before that, it says the husband must love his wife. The main responsibility of the man is summed up in 3 words: love your wives. Husbands hold the key to flourishing marriage.
Okay, that still doesn't say that if the marriage failed, it's my fault.
But if the marriage flourishes and you're the one holding the key, that kind of goes without saying. That's putting the responsibility of the success of the marriage on you. And
What we
with it
doing here,
saying
D?
that, it's also saying that if if the
You're right,
marriage
bro.
is not successful, that's on you because you hold the key to the success of the marriage.
The flourish of it, not the success, the flourish. The flourish means for it to grow, right? Okay, I guess that's another word for success. So
Yeah.
to grow.
Yeah,
But
come on. What we
if I
doing,
hold,
D? D, we dancing, D. We dancing.
no, if I hold the key and you change the locks on me, I don't have the key anymore.
D, you making excuses, and I'm gonna tell you,
I'm
you
not
making
making this.
excuses.
I don't understand how y'all keep saying because you are fucked up in the head. I'm supposed to be responsible of why our marriage failed. I can't be. No, do I got to beat your ass in order for you to be submissive? No, I'm not finna
That's
do
not
that.
how
Absolutely not.
If I'm
you
telling
gotta.
you
You
what I
gotta
know is
operate.
supposed to
You
do,
gotta.
I,
But D, you
if
gotta
I'm telling
operate
you
the way God. You gotta wait. You
right,
gotta operate the way
so if I'm
God
operating,
operate.
if I'm operating the way God operates, understand me? I'm doing it by the book. And she still does not want to freaking listen. She get a wild hair of her butt after 4 years of being in a marriage, doing everything that she's supposed to be doing, and she decides she wants to stop. Understand that this is one of the number one reason in divorce because women are freaking bored. So
So
This
you're
is
I'm
talking
not
this.
the
about
reason
being
why you bored.
unequally
I go out and
yoked
work
now.
every day, 2, 3 jobs if I have to. You bored because I'm at home sitting up under you? You bored because I'm at work all day, providing for the family, feeding the family, taking care of the household, making sure you got a
She ain't
roof and a
supposed.
bill?
You ain't
You're
supposed to let her
talking
get
about
bored. She ain't
you're
supposed to
talking
have enough
about
time to
being
get
Oh
bored.
unequally
my God.
yoked.
Oh my God.
You're
You
talking
definitely
about
are.
being unequally yoked.
You definitely are. And that would be
Yeah.
And
your fault again. That's your fault again for picking a partner that you're not and moving forward with a woman
Oh
that
my
you're not
God! You
equally
guys
yoked
keep
with.
saying a guy pick a wrong partner. If you start in a marriage like loving right and banging, y'all been going 4 years strong, and she changes her mind about something. How the hell is that my fault? How is that me picking the wrong person? I
okay,
don't
listen,
understand that.
listen. When Ariel, and at this particular time, I was a single mom. When Ariel, she started messing up at school, I didn't automatically put my foot in her behind because I'm head of the household. I have to find out why is she messing up in school. That falls on me because I'm still the parent. I'm the one in charge. I'm the head. I got to find out what's going on.
Mia,
Praise
do you
God, I
know
was
why
able
our
to
marriage
figure it out
worked?
and work it out. Huh?
Mia, you know why our marriage worked?
Do I know why our marriage works?
Yeah.
God.
Outside of that,
That's a hard one because there is no outside of that for me.
it is. But okay, so God is the head of of the family. Okay,
Right.
right? And we believe in the Bible. And we're supposed to do what the Bible says, right?
Yes.
When you say unequally yoked, you're not supposed to marry somebody that's unequally yoked, right?
Right.
technically we were not yoked together when we first met. We even today there's still some things that me and you do not agree on. It's less than what it was in the beginning.
That's not unequally yoked. If
Right.
we're both Christian, we may not both be walking the exact same, but we're both uh have a responsibility to Christ. Now, I'm saved and you're not saved, that's a problem. I'm saved and you're Jewish, that's a problem. Can those marriages work? Of course, but again, we're talking exception
So
and not the
equally
rule.
yoked only mean that me and you both are saved.
Wait, say it again.
Equally
I
yoked
disagree.
only means me and you both are saved.
No, unequally yoked, that plays a part in it. Prime example. And this is just an example. Let's say me and Kevin are out somewhere and we meet and he's interested and he approaches me. We go out on a few dates, we find out we like each other, then come to find out he doesn't believe in marriage, but I do. There's no way that relationship, and that's not even us getting married because he doesn't believe in it, but I'm still staying in the relationship with him because I like him and I want to be with him. That's unequally yoked because my heart is truly at being his wife, not just his girlfriend or not just his
So
non-social construct wife. I want
okay,
to
so
be his actual wife.
we got married,
Hmm.
and or not even no, we don't agree on how we raise kids. Is that equally yoked? That's
No,
unequally yoked.
that's still considered unequally yoked. It's
Okay, so
something that can be talked about and worked out, maybe, but that's considered, especially if you sink your teeth in.
okay, so that's the thing that I'm trying to explain to you guys. Before people get married, which I think people should do before they have sex anyway, but we all just into getting boned and moving on. But that's how you find out if you are compatible, equally yoked, or have the same understanding before you get married.
It's about what?
It should be before you have sex, because if you have sex and you get a kid, then you're trying to make a family out of a because you had a kid, and you find out that you guys don't agree on 90% of the
Nothing.
shit together.
Yeah.
So when I hear equally yoked, we both believe in God. We both uh, uh, believe in going to church. We both believe in the same religion. We both believe in uh, the same activities as far as what it takes to run a marriage, uh, raise kids. Now, in every situation, there's going to be a tad, probably something in that's going to be a little different. But because
Yeah.
you have an understanding before you got married, you can accept this and she can accept that, right?
Mhm.
Okay,
I
so
don't dis.
when you okay, because when you say equally yoked, when you said it's because I believe in God and you believe in God, that's not the only thing that makes you equally yoked.
That's not what I said.
No, when you said that, I asked you, is that the only reason? And then you said yes, and then you started going into other stuff. I'm not saying that's the only thing it is. I'm telling you, there's a lot of things in the process of being married. Because I don't agree with a certain thing and you do, and I'm strong and you strong about it, that's going to make a marriage bad, whether you believe in God or not.
But there's certain core values, is what I'm talking about. And I
Correct.
didn't say believe in God. I said being saved. Because you all right, baby?
Yeah, it's my knee. Go ahead.
Oh, you need, okay. Because I believe in God. And then you say you believe in God. And say, okay, perfect. Let's just go get married. And then come to find out, I believe in God as far as Jesus Christ. You believe in God as far as Buddha. That's not going to work. That's two totally different gods. Or the God that I believe in is Mother Earth, but you believe in Jesus Christ. We going to have some problems because and I want to take, because people have a tendency to confuse the word of God with religion. Religion falls under a lot of tradition that's not cool, and a lot of tradition that is has nothing to do with the word of God. So when I'm talking about being a Christian, being born again, hanging out with Jesus, I'm not talking about a religion, because religion falls under tradition, and tradition can be poisonous. Because there was a time within the Christian faith, it's okay to own slaves. Nah, absolutely not. Absolutely
Hold on
not.
one second. We just had to
Okay.
do a new person pop into the studio. Let's give it up for my sister Mallory. She's gonna
Melly
join
Mel! Melly
she's
Mel!
gonna join in on
Melly
the conversation
Mel!
and see what she got to say about it. What it do? What it
Hi,
do?
Hey y'all.
I
Thank
miss
What's
you for
going
that.
on?
you.
Thank you for all that love. Oh my goodness.
I miss you, mamas.
I miss you too.
That my baby. That my baby.
So like okay, that I understand. So I understand that men are supposed to be the leader in the marriage because that's what the hierarchy
Yes.
is God, husband, wife, and children.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean because it went that order, it doesn't mean she's under me. You know what I'm saying? She's
Mm-hmm.
under my leadership,
Mm-hmm.
but she's still a helpmate in what we decide what we're gonna go forward with. But if I come up with a plan for us to come up with, and I'll discuss it with her, and this is before marriage, and I'm discussing her, this is where I'm trying to go, this is where I want to be, and you go, yeah, I'm with that, we good, we rolling, I feel you, I'm on that with you. 4 years into the marriage, something happened, and 9 times out of 10, a man don't even know what happened. And then she just grows a wild hair up her butt, and everything starts falling apart, and you're still trying to fix it, and you're still trying to figure out why, how come, what's the problem? And then you say you don't let her get bored. What do you mean by you don't let her get bored?
You know what we call that in my neighborhood, D? I don't know what they
Huh.
call it in your neighborhood. We call that green.
You call that what?
Call that green.
Green?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
We call that a person being green. If
I ain't
somebody can
playing with
just
you no more today, Kevin.
if somebody can sell you a dream, that's what it sounds like. She sold you a dream. She said, yeah, I'm with that. Yeah, I'm with that. Yeah, I'm with that. And then down the line, you seen that she really wasn't with that. We call that selling you a dream. We call that being lame to the game. You was green. You feel me? So life, universe, God, the most high, Jehovah, Buddha, Allah, Jesus had you go through that so you could
Amen.
learn, right? You had to learn. So these things is not punishment. What's going on with you and your baby mom and your ex-wife, that's not punishment. That's for you to learn. When I say you did it wrong, this is what I mean literally. I know I said it in a way to strike a nerve. That's just podcast shit, right? But what I'm really saying is this. I'm saying, bro, is that if you had done it properly, you have a relationship that you want with your kids. You would have a decent, cordial relationship with your baby mom, and that you don't have to take my word for that. That's just how things work when they're done properly, right? If I have a successful business, successful marriage, successful relationship, it's because I've done the work for it to be successful. Plus, the Most High God, Jesus, Buddha, Allah has blessed me and gave me favor, grace, and mercy, right? To let things go that way. So that's what I mean when I say you did it wrong. The proof is in the pudding, not in Kevin's word. My word is not law, but let's look at the results of what we're talking about, right? So
That's
you're
like you
talking to
telling
some.
me I opened up a business and it was successful, and then somebody came and robbed me for everything. Now I'm out of business. Well, what I do wrong?
Well, that's not well. Okay, I
That
mean,
ain't
if you want me,
green.
if you want to go there, you're definitely green because you should have had tighter security. You see what I'm saying? I
Should
got
have had
something for
top flight.
everything now. Yeah, don't stop trying
Oh,
to go the cheaper route, right? You should have
people
hired.
have broken highly secured places.
All right, well, you
Some
should have
people.
had insurance, D. D, you got insurance, D. That's what insurance for. You're not getting out of that one. No, sir.
Can I, as the
What did you
wife,
know any
interject?
insurance that would pay you for everything that you lost?
That's
Okay,
that's that's business insurance. That's what you got it for. If somebody break
Damon.
into it, they go ahead.
I'm sorry, Damon. And I'm not gonna. This is not pick on Damon week.
Just
I
say it,
think
baby.
okay. The reason that you all are not together, did you do everything that you were supposed to do as a husband where she was concerned? according to the word of God?
As far as I know, yes.
I'm sorry, say that again.
As
Because
far as you
As
know.
far as, far as I know, yes.
Key
according
word,
to the
sis.
word of God.
Sis heard the key word. She heard it.
Uh-huh.
I just said yes. I'm not gonna keep repeating myself.
You said
Okay, but I'm
according.
just thinking about some of the stories that you shared with me about stuff that you did. How on earth do you think that you did what you were supposed to do as a man of God? We talking about the kids, mom, right?
Yes.
Okay. How do you think you did what you were supposed to do? At what point in time?
We got a word for that too, Miss Mia.
All right, funny nigga.
You ain't fixing this. Y'all ain't fixing to pick on my husband. I'm just trying to give him a little something,
Girl,
something
You
to
that's
joined
think
my
in.
about.
What
boy
are you
Josh.
talking about? You joined in.
No, I said I'm just trying to give you something to think about. Because listen, when you and her went your separate ways, she wasn't done. She was
Okay,
not done.
so yes.
Y'all done?
With baby mama, yes. I didn't start off doing what I was supposed to do. I kind of did this, did that, whoop, 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 whatever when we started off. Okay, but she didn't know none of all that in the beginning. Okay, when she started noticing where I messed up at or I was messing up at, is because I was done trying to be the husband that I was supposed to be. Because what's the point? It's not finna work. You're not listening. You're not doing what I need to be done. I'm not finna keep doing it. I'm not finna keep being in a house where a woman that don't want to listen or understand what's going on in this household or doing stuff behind my back because she's bored, she's jealous, or she want what she want. I'm not finna do that.
Baby, we talked about this, I believe, last week when we did
Did you
part one
say
of the
sit in the
nuclear
house
family.
and listen? No.
Yeah, nigga, that's what I said.
Because I'm I wasn't sure if I heard that clearly.
What
Okay.
kind of, think about it though, what kind of examples were you setting for her and the family? How were you treating her? How were you talking to her? How were you interacting with her? What was, and I'm talking about before you got to a point where you said, you know what? I don't care if the marriage survives or dumps.
What you grinning for?
Uh-huh.
We need the
Oh hell!
Jeopardy music. We need the Jeopardy music right about now.
No, I looked over and my sister was just grinning like, "What you gonna say now?"
What your hell you
I'm
got?
waiting.
I'm like sis. I'm waiting like sis.
I'm
What you
waiting.
gonna say now,
I got
nigga?
my you got my foot.
So
I'm listening. Look, as he say, I'm listening. I'm listening.
yeah. So okay. So I okay. I will give you. On the part of some decisions that I made that might have affected the downfall of my marriage.
There you
Right?
go. So I'm right, D. I'm right. You wrong.
No,
Move on to the next one.
no, the hell you're not.
Babe,
Okay, so but okay, so still at the end of the day, you and your kid's mama is not together. So then you say, so you're gonna say what you said, it was your fault why y'all not together. But if I'm together with you, and let's say I am doing everything I'm supposed to do, and you say I don't want to be with you anymore, and your reasons are because I'm just bored. I fell out of love. I just don't. How do you
this
solve that issue?
the scripture states, whatever God has put together, let no man put asunder.
And she's a woman, so she putting asunder.
Okay, here you go.
No. Listen.
You just missed the whole point.
No, I didn't. I was trying to be funny.
Okay, wait, but did you hear what I said?
Yes, I heard what you said.
Whatever God has put together. A lot of these people, they put themselves together. God wasn't nowhere in the equation. He wasn't even in the room. A lot of these marriages, God ain't had nothing to do. Me and that idiot, God wasn't nowhere in that. That was me. That was me and that was him. God ain't had nothing to do with that. it clearly states whatever God has put together, let no man put asunder. If God did it, it's not easy to break apart. It's really not.
So then, how do you know God put it together? Because there's some people that got married because they end up having sex and had a kid, and they decided to get married, and they still married, still going strong.
Listen, it's not, that's kind of like everything works for the good for those who love Christ. So you can have somebody, prime example. I realized after Idiot Boy that I have to stop saying that because that's so ugly. I realized after the other ex-husband that I don't like to claim. I realized after that for me, maybe marrying somebody a month after you meet them, not a good idea. You might want to get to actually know somebody a little bit better, spend some more time, find out how they handle conflict resolution, little important things. So that actually worked out in my benefit because I did learn a lesson from that, a very valuable lesson.
Okay, so since you want to put all that out and blast on me talking crap, did I have good conflict resolution before we got married?
Not
Nigga,
at
you
all.
still ain't got good conflict
Not at
resolution.
all.
Ain't nobody talking to you.
But
Oh,
he's
my
better
bad.
than he was,
I thought this
Mallory.
was everybody can make their comment if they wanted to podcast.
Your hair is cute, by the way, Mally Boo.
Yeah, I
Thanks,
like it.
sis.
I like that.
Appreciate it. I got tired of being bald headed.
Me too.
So no, Damon,
Too bad you
absolutely
can't help
not. When
it.
we got together, no, your conflict resolution was in the toilet.
Okay, so what lesson did you learn then?
That wasn't the only thing I said.
No, okay. The fact that the guy that you married and you guys didn't have good conflict resolution, you said you learned from that.
Yes.
And I'm asking you, what did you learn from that? Because we still got married and I still didn't have good conflict resolution according to
You want to
you
know what the difference was?
and my sister.
When you want to know what the difference was? Even though you may not have had it all 100% figured out, I knew for a fact that you loved me and that you would lay your life down for me. I knew that for a fact. I didn't have to worry about nobody trying to hurt me because my husband to be was going to protect me. I never, even though you sucked at conflict resolution, I have never, ever, ever been in fear of you physically hurting me. Ever. I never had to walk that with you.
All right, I get the point now.
You sure?
Okay, I'm just saying, like, I like to hear what
Don't
people
come
say,
for me.
and
Girl, everybody coming for you.
you know what I'm saying. Anyway, but like I said if you let a person talk long enough, they'll tell on themselves or answer their own questions. So I have to give you some of that, Kevin. You could possibly be on the right trail to that, but even after, nigga, don't be
Yeah, don't
violent.
start.
even still, if we're not together, and it still plays two apart. Like two of us had to play a part in some of that. It wasn't all on one person. Maybe the majority on one person, but it's not all on one person.
But you have to understand, as the man in the marriage, you are the CEO and president. I am but the vice president. God gave you the instruction directly. It is now your responsibility to see to it that I get the correct information. That's
Facts.
how that was originally set up. So remember I told you what I said to you the other day when we were on the phone with the kids?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily have to go to the Bible myself to look something up. I can, there's nothing wrong with it, but I should also be able to come to my husband and go, baby, where's that scripture that says such and so and so? Or what is Proverbs 31:2? What does it say again? I'm supposed to be able to come to you for that. You are my head. You are my lead. I agreed to submit to you.
So what you got to add, Valerie?
Girl, I'm listening to my sister preach, honey. I'm listening to my sister preach. I don't have nothing to say. She done said it all. I ain't got nothing to say on
Okay,
that.
Kevin. So what do you do when you find and you get with a woman
Mm.
that just refuses to listen?
What is
She's
with you and
not
this
the
listening?
she's not the one.
Nah, we not doing that, Miss Mill. You keep letting them get out of it. You keep making it about her, and it's about him. Him
I'm
ass.
clearly just asked, what's this about this listening?
Yeah, she not listening to what? What is she not listening to? You and your poor leadership? Why would she listen to that? Why you expect her to listen to you when you're not leading properly? That's what I'm telling you. We made the mistake at. You see how I said that? We made the mistake in leading improperly. So now she don't want to listen. She doesn't want to follow because we showed ourselves that we weren't good enough
Good
to be
leaders.
a righteous leader. Right? We wasn't
Mm-hmm.
fit
According
to
to
be a
who?
leader.
But according to who?
To the one who's got to follow, who has to submit.
So it's
Or in
not that
Mia's
I'm a
case,
bad
she said
leader.
the
She
Bible.
believes I'm a bad leader.
Say it
Who
again.
believes you're a bad leader?
We talking about, it's not just me. We talking about just couples. Period. Why couples don't last. So if like you, if I'm telling you, if I'm leading her and I'm leading what I know to feel to be right, but she doesn't feel like I'm doing it right. So I'm not a good leader according to her. So because I'm not a good leader according to her, she don't have to follow or listen. But it's my
Most
fault.
definitely.
Wow.
Wait,
Oh
Damon.
Well,
wow.
you try to throw that in there at the end,
Mm.
as if I was agreeing with everything you said. I was agreeing to the part that you said initially, and then when you said it's your fault, what's your fault?
Not being a good leader, right?
Yes, you not being a good leader is your fault.
Right. But according to her, so that means I need to lead how she feel like I should lead.
No,
No.
no,
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 that's
no,
Bro,
not
you
how
no.
that
just
works.
so okay, somewhere I'm not getting it then.
Okay,
If
let
I'm
me try to
leading,
let me try to explain it to you because you know your baby sister understand you a little slow. So listen.
For the record, you're our baby sister.
shut
Well,
up,
Welcome,
boy.
welcome through it, sis. And walk slow, walk
what
slow, sis.
what I think he's saying is, or I think what everybody's saying is, or what my understanding. Y'all, please let me know if I'm wrong. So
You wrong.
your mama, anyway.
Heard you.
So Damon, you're saying that you have you. Let's just say you and me. I'm just gonna use y'all for an example.
Okay.
You, right? Mia is not quote unquote listening to you or following your lead because she doesn't feel like your leadership is done properly, right?
Right.
So, and your question is, but if you feel like it's done properly, then she should still be listening and following you. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Even though she doesn't feel like your leadership is done, is you're not leading correctly, she still should be listening and following you, huh?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the thing. When you have two people that are a unit, right? First and foremost, you'll have to move as a unit. Already you're coming in being your own individual and she's coming in being her own individual. From my understanding from what Mia was saying, specifically she was talking about saying biblically, right?
Mm-hmm.
She wants her husband she wants her husband for one to be led by the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
So then, if she knows that her husband is led by the Bible, she knows that your leadership is going to be executed properly. So therefore, she will feel comfortable following you.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what I mean when I say you already coming in as two different people and two individuals. She already has the expectations. She already has set her boundaries. She already said what she wants. She wants a man that can lead from a biblical point of view.
Mm-hmm.
So if you come in and you be like, oh, I'm not leading up. I ain't leading from this biblical point of view. She already gonna know that you're not the person for her.
Mm-hmm.
She's already
Yes,
gonna
I
know
know
that you're
what I
not
was
gonna be able
talking
to lead
about.
her properly.
Okay. But but
So
but
so
I
hold on. So two things will happen with that. There has to be some type of compromise and there has to be some type of adjustment. Like she said earlier, she knew outside of what we were just talking about a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
She knew that you were the one for her because there were certain things in her past relationships that she didn't have to worry about. So therefore, out of everything else, she was still willing to accept you for you. Now that she's willing to accept you for you, you also know what type of man she's looking for. So if you love her the way you say you love her, there's going to have to be some type of adjustment, some type of compromising, and some type of Bible study going on. Because now she's accepted you for all of your flaws because she loves you, because she feels that you can be the one to lead her. So you have to show her that. So it's not that your leadership is wrong or right, because that's what you believe in. That's how you were taught. That's how you were brought up. That's what's been instilled in you. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's the right way, which is why you have a good woman by your side that's going to help you transition and or help you or guide you where you need to be, not only just as the man you're supposed to be, but her husband as well.
So once again, regardless of how many words you try to use to put it, I need to be the type of man that she wants to be.
No.
So that means when you say I'm not
No,
trying,
I didn't just say that.
Oh my God!
You
If-
need to
if-
be
if
the
I'm
kind
not-
of man that God called you to be, because that's how you and I get out now. If for somebody
you.
that's not saved and walking with the Lord, it's a totally different thing for them. You and I subscribe to the Bible. And I'm not saying that like I've got Proverbs 31 down pat. No, I don't. There are areas, huge areas where I'm still lacking, but I'm still headed towards that goal every single day. That's where I'm headed. And in the beginning, when we first got together, and even still sometimes now, there's a struggle with me getting on board and following. And it's not because I don't want to follow, it's because for 40 plus well, no, we've been together 12 years. So whatever 12 is minus 58, y'all do the math on that. I have been doing it myself, me and the Lord. That's it. Even when there were men in my life, and I'm talking about husbands, it was still me. And I had to take the lead. I was not in my position. I wasn't in my proper position. I was wearing my pants and the pants that God had subscribed for my husband because my husband wasn't wearing them. I don't have to worry about that with you because you want to wear the pants that God gave you. But because I've been wearing them for so long, yeah. So, and I'm 4 years older. So that also plays a part in it. So I had to remember that joke we did, or not the joke, but I had said to you, we were talking trash, and I said, respect your elders. You said, respect her in a household. Yes, sir. There's no comeback for that. I thrive in that environment. You thrive in that environment. So for us, it works.
It
But
works.
we have me being a submissive wife, because to me, submissive is not a dirty word. It's a sexy word. I relish it. I
can't we think we keep going around in circles to get to the point? I don't.
I'm just trying to get my point across on how sexy.
No, I understand.
submissive is.
I'm saying it's still. If I walk into a marriage and I'm saying, like one of our issues we had, I want to pay all the bills. I don't care if we got money left over or not. All my bills is paid.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how I feel. Matter of fact, some of my bills are paid so much extra. When I get a bill, I'm credited some of that bill. That's how I like to pay bills.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't like to pay bills like that. You wanted to make sure you still had money in your pocket, even if that means not paying the whole bill in full. Remember we had that discussion?
Yes, I felt like we should definitely pay ourselves first and then pay all the other stuff. Yes.
And I didn't think that. I think that's backwards, because if you pay yourself first and then you go and pay your bills and you short on the bill, am I not supposed to take the money that we paid ourselves to make sure that bill is paid, fully paid?
If you want to take your money to do that, you can.
And if that's not leaving you with no cushion, then no, that's not what you want to do. Because you gotta have some cushion for emergency purposes or anything else. Things happen.
Cushion for what?
Things happen.
Yeah, but my bills is paid. I got a roof over my head. I got
Yeah,
gas in my car.
tire.
I got food in the refrigerator.
We can say something as small as I'm not gonna say small because a flat tire ain't small, but you got a flat tire. Your bills is paid, but now you don't have no cushion to get that tire fixed for you to get back and forth to work for you to pay your bills.
Isn't that what AAA is for?
Everybody can't afford AAA. If you can't afford to pay your bills, you definitely can't afford AAA.
But if I'm paying my bills, that's included in my bills.
What's included in your bill?
AAA.
No, having AAA is a luxury. That ain't that's not a necessity,
That's a
especially for a lot of people,
luxury.
depending on what your
Now
pocket
that's
look like.
to me that's a necessity because I don't want my wife stuck on the side of the road anywhere. So that's a necessity to me.
But what, like she said, what about the person that can't afford it? And if you remember, also during that time,
We're not talking about whether you can afford it or not. I'm saying that as a head of a household, if I make sure that guy makes sure that everything is paid and everything is taken care of, and you don't feel like, no, we shouldn't pay bills like that. I don't think that's good leadership. So now that makes me a bad leader.
no, I didn't.
No.
Well,
I'm asking. I'm not
I
saying you
know, I
said
know.
that. I'm asking
That's
that.
why I changed it.
Kevin, does
That's
that
why I
make me a
changed
bad
it.
leader?
No, no one said that made you a bad. No,
Because
All
you
depend on
married now.
all depends on who you asking.
You are mad because you don't have no extra money in your pocket because you want to go buy Starbucks or get you a piece of cheesecake. But I used all that money and paid the bills and make sure everything is taken care of.
okay. Listen,
Tortilla.
financial gurus and financial. I don't like calling them gurus, but people who are Dave Ramsey. I'll use him for an example. They've
Okay.
all, and it's not just him, but the people who
Okay,
are,
they all say pay yourself first. I know that. I don't
yeah.
think that's right. So that makes me a bad leader because now that you're upset and you don't think that's a good leadership. So I'm
No one,
asking you, does that make me a bad leader?
It is
absolutely
gonna make
not.
you a bad leader to some people, but who are you wanting to judge you?
Okay, okay. I'm not trying to make it personal. I'm trying to say you saying that if a relationship ends and y'all not together anymore, and it's a man's fault why the relationship has failed. I'm giving you an example of why the relationship failed because I wanted to do something a certain way that I felt better our family, but you said no, that doesn't make sense. So because I don't want to do it that way, now does that make me a bad leader? Because now you're upset, you in your feelings, and then one day you decide, well, I don't want to be with you no more because you don't. I know I'm exaggerating, but I don't want to be with you no more because you don't know how to pay bills. You don't pay
So,
bills the way I think you should
Well,
pay
I
bills.
mean, that's a
And you
that's a
decide to leave.
possibility. That's a
What?
possibility, D. That's a
What's the
possibility
possibility?
that she could leave because she don't like the way that you pay bills. That's very possible. If
Right. So
that's
does
what you
that make me a
asking.
bad leader? That's
Because
what I'm saying.
financial
To
If they are
to
security is
her,
my
very
fault.
that's what
important in
I'm.
in that
relationships.
situation, no, it does not make you a bad leader.
Who you're at? Who are you asking? That's what I'm saying. If we're asking the woman that don't like the way that you pay bills, then yes, nigga, you gonna be a bad leader. To us on the panel, no, that doesn't make you a bad leader. But to the woman
You
who you're leading, that's
you
who it
said
matters to.
you said if a relationship fall and it fall apart, it's the man's fault.
Yes. No, no, no,
And
no,
I
no, no, no,
gave
no,
that's
no.
what he
We said
said.
he was
And I gave you an
responsible.
example of this is why the marriage fell apart because she felt like I wasn't a good leader in one or two decisions that I made. Now it's my fault that the relationship didn't work.
Well, you said
So
because she was bored.
the part
Yeah, you
about
keep.
being
You,
unequally yoked, that just went out the
No,
window.
when we before you got in, Mallory, we was talking about uh how the relationship is broken up and like I had issues with my baby mama with my kids and all that and going to court and we was talking about marriage papers getting married and if the marriage fall apart the man is at fault of why the marriage fell apart and I'm giving examples to if a woman says this that and the other and then she decides to leave they still saying that I was a bad leader or that man was a bad leader and it's his fault that the relationship is no longer together.
That is not what happened, honey.
No,
yeah,
that's not what happened.
you did a bad job of painting that and
Yeah,
summarizing
no.
that for
Wow.
sure.
Well, please somebody explain to me because I'm actually doing it wrong
This
now.
is what I'm
Okay.
telling you, D. Go ahead.
Oh,
No,
I
no,
was
go
gonna
Kevin.
say
No, wait, Mia,
the
go Kevin.
What I'm saying to the answer to your question, does that make you a bad leader? Right? Who are you asking is what I keep
Here, put
asking
some
you
mayonnaise
when
over
you
there.
making this. Because if you're asking me or you're asking your wife, we may say no. That doesn't make you a bad leader. But if there is a woman that's following you and she leaves you because of the way you pay bills, then yes, then that makes you a bad leader to her. And that's who it matters to, is what I'm saying, because you don't have to lead me, D. You feel me? So who gives a fuck what I say at the end of the day, right? It matters who the woman who you're trying to lead, because she gets a choice of what type of leadership she would like to be under, right? Maybe your leadership didn't work for her, but maybe mine's did, right? So if she say, I don't like the way you pay bills, I like the way Kevin pay bills, and she come and get with my program, that's okay for her to do. She gets to choose.
When we had that
Wait.
conversation in the beginning, and you said, D, is your fault.
I haven't,
That
you're
particular
not gonna
situation,
get
it
me.
was.
Yeah, you're not gonna
I'm not
get
gonna
me
give
to
you
go
what?
off of that.
Go off of what? That's why I'm giving you examples.
You're not gonna get me to change my stance. That's what I'm saying.
I'm not
Any
trying to
example
get
that
you.
you,
No, I'm not
so
trying to get you to
yes,
change your stand. I'm trying to make examples of what you say that
but
this
I
is the
answered
reason.
it. I answered
But
it.
no, you did not. I'm asking you. You saying that if this and this happened, that I was the fault. It was my fault. I'm using me
Yes,
personally, but I'm saying it's the man's
I'm
fault.
saying yes to that. I'm saying yes. I said yes already. That's what I'm saying. I answered that.
That's what I said. So if I make this decision and she felt like I was a bad leader, and from the conversation we had earlier, and the marriage don't work, you said it's the man's fault. And I'm trying to
I'm still a
understand, but that's what I'm trying
yeah.
to say. How is it my fault or the man's fault if I'm telling you this
But
works
I've
better?
already answered that too. I've already
Okay,
answered that
all
as well. That's what I'm
right.
saying.
What
I'm
did
gonna
you
answer
say?
it.
No,
I'm answering
you
it
answered it.
again. Okay, go ahead.
You answered it. Go ahead, Mia.
All right.
What you have to
So just because a particular person says a particular thing, that doesn't make it law. Just because she said, you know what? I
say?
feel like we should get paid before we start paying all the other bills. And because he doesn't subscribe to the same thing that I subscribe where that is concerned, then yeah, I'm gonna leave him. Okay, that's a situation where again, unequally yoked. Y'all shouldn't have been together to begin with. So that example doesn't work. But the example that was given in the beginning, because that's just one thing. The example that was given in the beginning, as far as the kid's mom, yeah, yes, that was you. That was you.
And ain't
So
no getting out of it, nigga.
it's just it's apples and oranges is what you're doing.
No, I'm not doing
Now, if
apples and
I
oranges.
say
I'm going off of what you guys are saying, and I'm giving different examples, and then you switch up on the example that I'm giving,
we're
and
not
Okay,
y'all trying to
switching
make it
hold
seem like I'm
up,
on.
fucking
So
crazy, and I
what
ain't.
it
I know what I'm
no.
saying, and I understand that people get into relationships that maybe they shouldn't have got in, but there are relationships that in the beginning people thought they were in, but you say, "Oh, she sold me a dream." Well, I sold her one too. I just kept mine real. So the fact that she left and she don't want to be a part of it, or she's being a jackbutt about it, and I can't see my kids, or that man have, because you see that way more. You saying that's your fault, dude. That's
by
all you.
nature.
None of that shit she did is nothing to blame for her. It's all you because
By
you are the head.
nature and by God's law, we are followers. We automatically follow. And I told you before, and I think I said it last week. When you find a woman that's buck wild and out of control, there's a man somewhere in her life responsible, either because of something he did directly or because he was not there and he did something and it was indirectly. It can be a father, an older brother, her uncle. It doesn't matter. There is a man responsible. We are not the heads. The hierarchy does not change. God the Father, Son, God the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, man, woman, child. The hierarchy does not we don't get to pick and choose. It doesn't deviate.
But that's no difference than you got a child that was ace in school and did good in school, and when they turned 21 and got out the house, they went buck wild. That doesn't make me a bad parent.
What did I tell you before about that? There's no such thing as bad children. It's bad parenting.
If
Listen, it's not that
It
the
sounds
child
like
is
there's an accountability issue here.
what?
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Oh my God.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Just think about some of the stuff that you shared with me about you and the kid's mom.
Don't put him out there, man. Don't put him out there.
No, I'm not gonna
Oh,
get
I don't care about putting.
nothing.
I'm
Yeah, I
talking
know.
shit. I'm talking shit.
Yeah,
I'm
'cause
talking.
how
Don't
else
take
other
me back.
people? How
Come
else is
on,
other
man. I'm
people
just
gonna
talking
learn?
shit. I'm just talking
Yeah,
shit. I'm just trying to
But
light
think
it up.
about
I'm
it.
just talking shit.
yeah.
If
I ain't never
somebody
worried
had
about
treated
putting
you
me on
that
blast.
way, would you have wanted to stay?
Hold on. I don't care about me putting me on blast because how other people gonna learn? I'm good with it. But you said accountability. When I went through what I went through with my kids, I accepted a lot of accountability. Like one of the stories I told me, my kids threw me Father's Day party. They made me. It was a whole Incredible Hulk theme because I was telling their mom how much I wanted to play the Incredible Hulk game because I've been Incredible Hulk since I was a kid. I loved it. They did it. I cried like a big ass baby. You know why? Because I didn't believe I deserved to have that Father's Day special for me.
Okay, now take the
There was
children out
more
of the
than
equation.
Mia.
I'm
I just want to say your name out loud.
you know what? Okay, now think about again, you brought the kids up. How was your relationship with their
Man,
mother?
Damon. I love
How
you.
did you
You know
treat
that.
how did
You
you
know I
treat
love
their
you.
mother?
Very well.
Damon?
Who? You treated who well? You got me stuttering and shit.
Damon.
Huh,
Oh shit!
You treated who well?
I mean, you
Latrice.
treated her well if
Mia, please. Hold
I mean
on.
oh,
Hold on. Mia, just give me a second. Damon, you get that
Yes.
big ass smile on your face. You do know I can see you, right?
Oh, you can? I thought my camera was on.
No, you just black, nigga. Anyway,
Oh, okay.
you
treated
treated
who
who
well?
right? You believe in that in your head that you treated Latrice right?
No, I
Are
was
you was
just
being was you being sarcastic?
I was being a little bit sarcastic, but like remember when we stayed on Buford?
A little.
I remember Buford.
Okay, I treated so for an example,
Damn.
uh that girl Latrice asked me, she said, I want to get cable. I told her no, we couldn't get cable right now because I wasn't making enough money and I couldn't afford to do the cable. I didn't go, no, nigga, you can't get no cable. So when I say I treated her right, like those things I didn't do, like my kids didn't see us screaming and yelling and arguing it. She started that screaming and arguing in front of the kids. And there's times I stop. They don't need to see that. But yet she want to throw and like me putting hands on the trees, it was never me starting that scenario. Like I walked up to her and put hands on her because she said something out of pocket.
Right.
When I put hands on her because she just busted my lip, hit me in the head with a plate, threw something at me, and it didn't even affect it. Like I went straight to fighting. So I went and talked to my best friend Charles. I was working for him. And I'm like, Charles, look, man, I need to make some extra money. He was like, why? I said, Latrice wants some extra stuff, man, and I'm just gonna give it to her because she's my wife. I want to make her happy. That's just me, regardless of what's going on between us. And so he said, "Go give me some more hours." The very 2, 3, 4 days later, a freaking cable dude showed up at my house and asked me, "Hey, we giving out deals for cable." I brought him in the house. We talked about it. I said, "Okay, cool. How much is gonna cost me?" I figured out what I had to make extra to pay the cable bill. We got ready to hook. He called to get ready to hook it up, and they told him we already have a scheduled appointment to come and turn on your cable, and it was under her name. I told him to turn it off. I said, turn it off.
My God.
Damon, how
So
many
when I say,
extracurricular? Go ahead.
what'd you say?
No, I didn't. I thought you
Wait,
had
and you think
stopped.
till to this day that was okay?
What was okay for me to turn it off?
That whole situation, yeah.
Yes. How was that not okay?
I mean, both of y'all was in the wrong, but two wrongs don't make it right.
How was that in the wrong? You asked me for something for the house, and I'm the only one working. We not making enough money collectively to add another bill
Well,
to
she
the
must have been
house.
making something if she was able to get some goddamn cable.
No,
She likes to
she
rob.
wasn't.
No. No, if she was doing it behind my back.
That's
And
what
but
I'm
I know,
saying. I said she
right, but
must have been making something
then that don't make both of us wrong. That makes her wrong.
that makes her wrong for going behind your back and getting the cable, but
But
your
what?
your intentions behind intentions behind turning it off wasn't because you were the one that was making the money and couldn't afford it. It was more so you cutting it off because she went behind your back and turned cable on.
Right. So how am I wrong about that?
Be- you didn't just hear what I just said?
It didn't make sense to me then.
You didn't do it with the intentions because of financial. You did it with the intentions of retaliation. That's wrong.
No, I
That's why I
did it
said two
because
wrongs don't make a right.
I did it. I did it because you went behind my back and did that, and the me turning on the cable was contingent on me working extra hours. I don't know how long the extra hours is gonna last, but I took that extra for me to make it happen for her. You went and did
Right.
it behind my back. So it wasn't
Right.
I
So
wasn't wrong for turning off something that she wasn't supposed to turn on in the first place. And she
so
didn't
that's
talk
what
to me about that.
so that's what I mean. You turned it off out of retaliation, not because you weren't going to be
No,
able
I'm
to
turning that
afford
off
it. Because
out of
you
disrespect.
literally called the people and told them to come hook it up in the next couple of days.
No, I
So
didn't.
you
They
got
showed
pissed
up at my.
off because she turned it on
No,
behind your
no.
back and then went and turned it off.
Okay, I'm wrong for that too. All right, okay, you're right.
I said both of y'all. I didn't just say you.
I didn't say that. I don't think I was wrong in that situation.
Whew.
Okay, so as far as the cable situation goes, I hope I don't get kicked out of Woman 101. I actually agree with him on the cable because it was not something as a married couple. They had talked about it and the decision was no. Then
I
she went
agreed. I
behind.
agreed with that too. I said they both was wrong. They
No, we
both was
both
wrong.
not wrong. If she would have turned, if she hadn't never asked me about turning on the cable, and she turned on the cable, baby, this was a surprise for you. We turned on the cable. Why did you do that? Why you didn't come and ask me? Well, you've been working so hard, and I want you to be able to watch the game and stuff. My next question would have been, well, how are we going to afford it? Because according to what I know we make in this house, we can't afford it. I took an extra job, or I make money on the side doing such and such. There's no reason for me to get mad. There's no reason for me to say turn that off or nothing. You came and talked to me. But once you
Okay.
come and talk and then I say no and you still go and do it, you are wrong.
Okay. So you turning it off. You may not have been wrong, but your intentions, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I don't know. I mean, that shit was old as hell. So obviously, both of y'all was immature as hell. Let's just put it to you like that. But because neither one of y'all should have did that. But like I said, you can't say that you turned it off because you weren't sure how your finances were going to be when you literally had just had the guy come over there and try to turn the cable on. You turned it off because you felt disrespected. You turned it off because you felt some type of way. You turned it off to prove a point. And that's
And
why
I
I
had a
said
right
you
to
was wrong.
and I had a right to prove that point. I'm head of the household. I know what comes in and out of that house. And then one that I was getting was bare necessity cable, which means I knew how much I could make to pay that bare necessity. The one she got was 3 times the price of what I got or what I was getting. I know how much money that come in that house. She pays all the bills. Long as I don't get no red notice, no pink notice, I don't care. Pay the bills, whatever's left, do what you want to do with it. But we never had money left over to do. We stayed struggling until I got with Charles. We stayed struggling. When I got with Charles, things started building and bettering, and she saw that. And because it was building and bettering, well, now I want what I want. Okay, that's fine. You can have what you want, but we need to make sure it's affordable. Kids still need things. House still need things.
Well,
So
you
no,
guys
I
met.
didn't turn it off because I was being vindictive. I turned it off because you wasn't supposed to get it. That
Were you
wasn't
guys
your place to do that.
were you guys married at that stage when you guys were living on Buford?
Leslie, I I think we were.
Okay.
I think we were married.
Were you the whole time you guys were
All I know, we was married before we left Buford.
Okay. So the entire time that you guys were together, did you ever step out on her?
Yes.
Or let me ask you this. This may be an easier way to ask that question. How often were you faithful to her?
Not often.
Okay. How often did you speak to her with respect?
A lot.
Or no, let me rephrase that. How often did you speak to her with love?
All the time. Well, because I stepped out on her, I couldn't speak with her with love.
No,
No,
that's not where she was going with that at all.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Where you going with it? Why you look like that?
because when did you get to a point where you no longer spoke to her with love? Because that's
I,
the first time I've ever heard you say that.
you never asked me that.
That's true because of the stories that you told.
Well,
And
we had a
my fault.
conversation. We had a conversation. She said, "Damon, can I talk to you?" At this time of point, I wouldn't piss on her to put the fire out if she was burning. We was at that point. She said,
Mhm.
"Damon, I want to talk to you." I said, "Okay, cool. What you want to talk about?" Well, I wanted to understand why this and why that and why this and why that. And I was like, okay, this is why. This is how come. This is what for. Well, I don't fucking understand. Whoop the whoop the whoop. Well, you asked me a question, Latrice, and I honestly told you what I felt. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm going to tell you the truth. This is the same tone. Well, fuck you, nigga. Well, this is why I call you a funky bitch. Then it went way off, and then yes, we started yelling, screaming. This is how our conversations, when she didn't get what she wanted, this is how the conversation always went. It was never, Latrice, bring your funky, but it was never like that. It was never coming from me. When she didn't get what she wanted, then that's where it came. So me talking to her with love is, hey babe, what you doing? How you doing? Woo, woo. It was never, I just walk in the house and I just start talking to her on file. It's kind of, back that day, I was giving you the energy you gave me.
So
I feel like there's a
so
lot
she
in between
okay.
this that we not gonna get nowhere with because it's a lot. It's a lot in between this, and
Yeah, because
we not gonna
that's my
get,
sister. She's seen a lot. She's
huh?
seen a lot. I said, you're my sister, so you've seen a lot what happened in
Right. So
between.
that's why I'm saying like
Yeah.
we're pulling from certain situations that it has so many different levels to it. We're never going to be able to come to a solution or a conclusion or an agreement to this situation at all whatsoever.
Okay, because I was trying to get the average.
Because I
And
think, Mir, what you were going to say was, obviously there was a reason behind her actions, right? As humans, there's always, most of the time, I'm going to say that, because I work in mental health. So I would say most of the time, there's reasons behind our actions. There's a reason why we do things. There's a reason why Latrice at that moment went behind his back and was like, nah, fuck this, we going to get some cable. It
Yeah,
probably
but
didn't have no
what
intentions on
reason
just
was
strictly disrespecting
justifiable for
you.
that?
Huh?
What reason is justified for that?
I mean, it could be
I mean,
maybe
it could
she was
be
tired.
anything,
It
but
could it
how
could
is
be
that
it could be
justifiable?
it could be possibly she was tired of struggling. It could be possibly her tired of not being able to have cable. It could have been possibly
yeah.
it could have been a whole lot of reasons. There's a whole lot of reasons why people do things that they do. Like I said, but y'all was together for a long ass time and y'all went through a lot. Y'all went
Yeah.
through a lot. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean. Like, or even when you said with you guys' conversation, you may have said something to trigger her. People like, well, you know what? Fuck you, nigga. Like you probably said something to trigger her. Who knows? Because y'all
I
argue. I
that's what
say
I
that because
said.
you guys argue.
I know
You
I said something that triggered her. She said some things that might have triggered me. But
right.
as an adult, we need to refrain from the name calling, and we supposed to be how Kevin was saying how him and his wife, baby mama is. It shouldn't be all that arguing, fussing, and fighting. There should be an understanding. But when
Right.
only one person is trying to get the understanding and the other person don't want, it's hard to communicate with people like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
That's why
that's
we're
just
talking about like
period.
now, right? Right. So that's why I said that using
Even
you guys
still
your
now.
example, huh?
I said, even still now, it's the same thing even now.
I mean, y'all are already damaged. It ain't no coming back from that. You and her ain't never gonna come
No,
back from that. And
I've
on
came
top
back
of that,
from it.
on top of that, you have your certain ways that you look at things. And then also Latrice, I don't put her business, but she got a little mental
Mallory,
things going on.
Mallory.
So y'all never gonna see eye to eye. And on top
Okay,
of that,
Mallory.
damn near all your kids is
So
grown.
one thing that I can get from Kev is that when you say we never got, I've gotten over it. And you know
I didn't
how
say
I know
nobody was
I
gonna
have?
get over it. I never said
No,
that.
you no, what did you say? We're
I
never
said
what?
you and Latrice will never be able to see like eye and eye. Like even now, you guys will just never be able to see eye to eye. Because you said
Why?
it's
Why
still
we won't be
happening
able to
now where
see
you
eye
guys'
to eye?
communication is messed up. Huh?
Because
Right.
if she
But I'm just
catches
saying,
on
why did you
fire,
say
you
that?
wouldn't pee on her. I was
No,
answering
that's
your
not.
question.
That has nothing
That's
to do
not.
with
That's not
communication.
my. That was not what I was referring to, Damon. Mia, be quiet.
My point is, okay, so here's my point. My son was talking to me on the video cam. He put the phone down. I didn't know Latrice was home. I knew the younger twins was home. And I was telling him, why is you putting the camera down? If they don't want to be seen, tell them don't walk across the camera. But I was like joking with it. And then she went smooth off. What's my normal response, Mallory? You know me. How would I respond her going off on me?
I don't know. Hang up.
I would have went off on her back.
No, you
You
would
know
have
me.
used
What's
very ugly
What's my
language.
favorite word?
Yeah. Right? That's how I'd respond. But to show you how, I said, Cameron, turn me on speaker. And I said, Latrice, I am truly sorry. I apologize. I didn't know it was you. So when we say communication ain't gonna work no more, there's a reason why. If one person is trying, the other one's not. Yes, you're right. We ain't gonna never communicate. But if we both acting a jack butt, nothing is ever gonna get done.
I said that you and Latrice will never be. Actually, I did say. I don't know if you heard me. I said you and Latrice will never be able to see eye to eye because the damage has already been done. So, and I'm only saying, like, even her overhearing what you said and her going off like that, y'all are so over and messed up. Any little thing is gonna get y'all right back to where y'all was. Y'all don't have no leveling. There never there maybe it was at the beginning, but from after the beginning, after that honeymoon, or whatever you want to call it, or after y'all good times, whatever the case may be, that leveling is gone. So it could be 100 years from now, y'all still gonna be in the same space y'all are right now until yes, both of y'all can come together and find some type of alignment. But it'll never happen. It's already damaged. So you can be as nice as you want, as nice as you want to, or she can be as nice as she wants to. Y'all are so damaged, it's ridiculous. Y'all cannot come back from that. It's gonna take a whole ride to hell and back for y'all to come back from that. And I pray that y'all do come back from that in the long run, more for anything for y'all kids. You know what I mean? Because y'all kids need y'all, and they need both of y'all. But y'all so damaged, it ain't gonna be none of that. Which is why probably when you said what you said, it triggered her some way somehow, and she went the fuck off. Right then and there, you should have just hung up the phone. I would have just hung up. I wouldn't argue with her back because it ain't no winning out of that.
I didn't. That's what I'm saying. I didn't argue back. I apologized, and when she still kept going off, I said, "Okay, my bad," and I went back to talk to the camera.
Good job. You've matured a lot. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Good job.
That's all I was saying. But when I just it still sticks with me, that conversation, that comment that Kev made by like
It's the
it's
man's
still
fault.
your fault. Even Mia keeps saying that.
He
It's
gave
your
you the
fault.
scripture. He gave you the scripture to back it up.
That was not a scripture to back that up.
What? What?
That was not a scripture to back that up that said that it's my fault.
Is it the lingo that you're having an issue with?
Why it gotta be the lingo is my fault? I don't understand what you mean, the lingo.
Is it the verbiage? Is it the words that are being used? Is the word your fault? Those two words, is that where you're having the problem?
I guess.
Would it
I
be
said what
better
it was.
if
I said what it was earlier. I said it's the accountability.
Yeah,
well,
but
there
when you
you
say
go.
that on accountability, you said I'm not accepting accountability.
No, I'm
Yes,
not saying you're per se not accepting accountability because technically we're using a bunch of examples, right? So because we were using a bunch of examples, we weren't pinpointing anything towards you. when I said it was a problem with accountability is because like when Kevin said it's the man's fault or it's your fault, or when Mia said it's the man's fault or it's your fault, and when she did the hierarchy from you listed it, I can't remember everything you said, but when she
Yeah.
listed it, and you know she did and then your comeback was kind of redirecting to the other person, and it kept being. Is that a cat?
Where?
Oh, I thought I seen a cat. I'm about to say I got a cat.
Oh, no, that's
Not
my
in the
glove.
kitchen.
Oh.
You know we don't got animals in the kitchen.
So it just it was just you were, instead of you trying to have some type of understanding where Kevin and Mia was coming from, you got a little offended and then you got defensive and then kept trying to redirect why it would be the woman's fault instead of you taking some type of accountability with them saying it takes two, right? It does take two, but at the end of the day, depending on who you're with and depending on the situation that's at hand, it is your job to lead in the relationship. And if you're not leading properly, then your woman will find the right person to lead.
And on that comment, like, so, okay, first of all, Kevin, what music you bobbing your head to, man? It sound like you jamming.
No, I don't think he was bobbing his head. I
I
think he
just-
was
He
listening.
was agreeing with my sister. I know.
Yeah.
Hey, just a bobbing? Yeah, okay. So, I didn't get offended, and I know when I get like really emotional type way or whatever, I'm not offended. Trust me. It was more of not really understanding, and I really am trying to understand because there's a lot of more men out here like me also. You understand what I'm saying? That really cannot understand how can you blame a whole relationship falling apart on a guy, on the man that's the head of the household. If I'm the head and you don't respond and treat the situation as such, how can that be my fault? If you decide you want to flip out and just do what you want to do, and I'm telling you that's not how it's supposed to be, and well, if it ain't gonna be that way, I'm gone. How is that my
That
fault?
ain't the
And then
person.
he goes right back to the beginning. Well, it was your fault for choosing her. Well, I chose her because at the beginning of us having the conversation, and you can't say most days you ever go on, you meet that person's representative.
So then if you fell in love with the person who she's claimed that she was gonna be, like Kevin said earlier, sold you a dream. Once your ass woke up, you should have bounced. That wasn't the person for you. I can fall in love with a nigga overnight, but if he starts showing me red flags, nigga, I'm out of here. Block, delete, bye.
Yeah,
I
no,
ain't even
nigga.
gonna pack a bag. I'm just leaving. I got money. I can go shopping all over again. Listen, you can have this shit. Dress it up, give it to your baby mama, give it to your daughter. I don't care what you do with it. So yes, we all go through that when we fall in love with people or who people say that they're gonna be, right? That's why it's important to be honest and to be upfront. But a lot of people don't know how to do that, unfortunately. So when you have somebody, quote unquote, like Kevin said, selling you that dream, once you find out that that person is not for you, it's not up for you to change them. It's not up for you to make them fall in line. It's
No,
not up
that's
to
what
them
I'm
to
saying. When he
make them
said,
listen to
but
you.
when he's saying that the relationship is over now, it's basically no fault belongs to her. No accountability belongs to her. It's the man's fault.
Nope, nobody
That's
said
not what
that.
he said at all. That's not what he
Neither
said.
one of us said that. I told you, I have to, when we get ready to go, especially Damon, for you and I, when we go stand in front of Christ to be accountable for the things that we have said and the things that we have done, it's like you said when you went on that state sponsored vacation. This ain't no we number. This is a me number. I have to give account for myself. However, our marriage, you don't get to be head of household and think you ain't responsible. Sorry. Sorry. That comes along with the job. And if you don't want to be responsible for the marriage, you don't get to be head of household. Those two things go together.
So me being head of household, technically, as far as the Bible's concerned, I can't divorce you unless some type of infidelity, or I think it's one other thing that the Bible says that the only reasons why you can get divorced. Knowing too, I mean, if you putting your hands on me and you beat me up every day, I think that's a good reason to get divorced. You know what I'm saying? So no. But according to the Bible, there's only a few things that you can get divorced for. So if I end up, if you sold me this dream, and we've been doing this way, we've been doing this for 5, 6, 7 years in this marriage, and we've been doing good, and my wife get to talking to this girl named Mallory, and girl, this and that, and why you, girl, you supposed to be a strong, independent woman, and you know what I mean? And then by even the Bible says the woman is the weaker vessel. Not saying you're a weak person, but you know what I mean? The devil go through you to get through us, to get to us. You understand what I'm saying? So, and you bite in that, and I'm not supposed to divorce you because you change your mind about how you want things to run. It's not finna change. And then if it does change, we sit down and I try to compromise with you. Well, okay, well, baby, you agreed that you would never get a job as long as I could contain all the bills and we could still do trips. You can still get your hair done. As long as you said you wouldn't get a job. I'm still doing that. But all of a sudden, you talking to Mallory, girl, you need to have your own money. You don't know how long this relationship gonna last. I know y'all been together 7 years, but you know what I mean? I've heard stories like this. I've heard
and
women
if she
tell
got a woman in her, if she's
people,
going to somebody who's talking to her like that, that ain't the friend for her either.
Exactly. And I'm with that too, 100%. You know what I'm saying?
So
but there are women that I've seen and I've heard people talk, like they met these women in the marriage that they was in. They met somewhere else. You know what I mean? At the grocery store, and you know, girl talk turned into this and this and that and the other. I don't think you a strong woman if you let some other person influence what's been going good in your marriage. And if you let somebody influence what's going on in your marriage, then you didn't think that you had it good in your marriage in the first place. But at the end of the day, if you jump up and say, I want a divorce, and you file for divorce, it's still my responsibility and my fault that you wanted a divorce.
Baby, if I'm a private in the military and you're my CO and I'm messing up, and you didn't put your foot in it, I'm sorry, because there's still a hierarchy, because you have to go from the CO to the XO to the squad leader to the platoon leader to the squad leader, now down to the plebe that's messing up. But all of that, they're still coming to you because you're the commanding officer.
Yeah, they're going to come to ask me why I did what I did with this kid, why I put him out or whatever. And if I didn't chastise him, why am I still letting him run around do what he wanted to do? Right. That's why they will come to me. Either way, they're going to come to me whether I make a firm decision to do something about it or let it ride. They still going to come to me. Why are they going to go to him?
But this is the thing.
If you're mate, if you have tried, if you have exhausted all of your options and she still decides to leave just because she's unhappy or whatever the case may be, then no, Damon, you are not at fault. That's her fault. She's in the wrong. She decides to leave, she leaves, that's on her. If you have tried everything in your power as a man in the relationship or the head of household or the leader, all the other titles y'all have been given, if you've done everything that you knew that you were supposed to do, or that you've done, or you tried it to every extent, counseling, whatever, because there's a plethora of ways that you can stay together, right? That you can attempt to stay together, or you can work it out, right? If you've done all that, if you tried everything, but you also was doing right by her at the same time, you were doing right by her and you tried A through Z and she still decided to leave, then no, bro, you're not at fault. It's her.
Because according to the scriptures, it says, having done all, stand.
Right. So, Mr. Kevin.
But you don't get to stand until you've done the all.
Right.
And do right, and while doing right.
So yeah, it's still my fault though, right, Kev?
What's up, though? Yeah, it's still your fault, brother. I don't care what they talking about. It's your fault. The hell?
He ain't even know what we were talking about, but it's still your fault, nigga.
Facts.
Because you're trying to take, but it's still your fault. You're doing what you told Kevin you can't do where the scriptures are concerned, which is to cherry pick. You're now cherry picking as the head of the as the head of the family.
I'm not cherry picking. I am not. I don't know where you get me. All I'm saying is
because you don't want to take responsibility.
I didn't. Responsibility for what? Her leaving? How am I taking responsibility for that? You chose to leave.
if the marriage is a success, are you going to take credit for that?
It all depends. Well, no.
Oh, here
Yes,
you go.
we
This
both can
serious.
take credit. No, we both can take credit for it.
No, because
If it failed, hold on, Mimi. If it fails, you need to figure out why it failed. So if I'm doing counseling to people and we having a successful marriage, I need to recon it and see what made our marriage successful. I didn't just make it successful. You helped me make it successful. When it failed, somebody started something happened, and we need to figure out why it failed. If one person is trying to do everything to keep it going, to keep it right, how is that? Even if it's the woman, I'm not just saying me. If the woman is doing everything she can to keep this marriage in order, but the dude is like, nah, nah, and he's being an a-hole about it, yeah, nigga, it's your fault.
Okay, then you're falling in again. You're falling into being unequally yoked.
Oh my God. We thought we were equally yoked when we got married. So we felt unequally yoked somewhere down after 7 years.
So again, whatever God has put together, just because you and I did it, don't mean that God had anything to do with it. You saw her, she had a great big old giant rack and a huge booty and a little tiny waist. I'm in love. Oh, you know what? You so
No, I'm not in love because she had all that. So
well, yeah, because she didn't.
you know what? I can honestly say, and I'm gonna be upfront with everybody in this that's listening, that's been in and out of this podcast. I married Latrice for all the wrong reasons, and it was only one reason. Okay, I married Latrice because I did it backwards. Instead of marrying her first, we ended up having kids first, and I wanted to be a part of my kid's life. I want to wake him up and take him to school, or get him up ready for school, or if I'm going to work, when I come home, I know I'm going to see him when they come in the house from school, whatever the case may be. Take them out bike riding on the weekend, or whatever the case may be. If I had to marry her to do that, I was cool with that. You know what I'm saying? But at the same token, that's why when me and you got married, I told you, I'm not going to spend my life trying to make you happy, which in turns make me miserable. And that's what I did with Latrice. I got with her and married her for the sake of the kids. So I did my best as trying to be a head of the household, to be the man of that house, and show my boys what it takes to be a man with kids and a wife.
Okay, now let me ask you this, and I'm not trying to be
the system more than once.
And I'm going to ask you this, not trying to be facetious. How much time were you spending in the Word when you were doing that?
Mia, listen to me for a second, okay, baby?
Okay.
There's people that have successful marriages and have nothing to do with the Bible. They don't believe in none of that. So telling me, and I'm not trying to take like complete, because I do understand if you believe in God and you understand, because like we said in the beginning, everybody don't believe the same thing.
Right.
Right? Because you're going off of what me and you believe in. The other two people on the panel might not believe in what we believe in. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay, so the fact that whether I stayed in the Word on it or not, if I didn't believe in it at that time and she didn't believe in it at that time neither, that's not the reason why it fell apart. Because there are people that's been married that's in the Word of God toughly. Both of them are. Both go to church. And they
spiritually or religiously, it all aligns, regardless, no matter how you look at it. Just depends on who you are and what you're doing, what you're deciding, and deciding what you're following.
It depends on the two people that agree on what they agree on.
Yeah.
If you guys can't agree on anything, your marriage will never work. Period.
You just heavy in the book, sis, and there ain't nothing wrong with it. That's the way.
I know.
There's nothing
you know,
wrong.
it ain't nothing wrong with it.
Doing, especially doing this podcast, we're gonna talk about scriptures and we're gonna talk about the Lord, because that's something me and my wife believes in. Right. I don't care about what other people, if you believe in that or not. But what I do care is I do take your opinion and I do think what you say. I believe in the universe. I believe in Mother Earth. Okay, if that's what you believe in, we can still talk about it. I'm not gonna take that from you. But what I'm trying to explain to my dear wife is you keep throwing everything back to Christ. Understanding, and there's relationships that have lasted and neither one believed in Christ.
I'm not saying that they didn't, but baby, I can't speak on that. Because
Mhm.
for
When we
me,
do, when we're talking about this, you gotta be well
Open-minded.
versed around a
Oh, no,
lot
no,
of
no.
different things.
I agree 100%. I'm not trying not to be open-minded, but I'm talking specifically to him about his specific situation because you used okay, so I tell you what, let's take God off the table just for a second. How faithful were you to her then? Because you keep trying to say that these are the things that you were doing that made you a good husband. But if you stepping out, you
I
suck.
didn't
You
say
were not.
I never said I was a good husband. We're talking about leadership.
How are you a good leader? You stepping out on your family. How does that make you a good leader? You suck.
According to you, because you believe in monogamy.
Was y'all polygamous?
No.
Well, then you cheated. You sucked, like she said, fool. If y'all was not
Help me out, Kev.
polyamorous, then you were cheating. You were
You
stepping
don't
out,
believe in monogamy, nigga. Help
which
me
means
out.
you were not being a good leader.
I believed in not being monogamous. That's
You
why I
did,
did
but
what I
she
did.
didn't.
That's her problem.
So, see, I told y'all to drop this with this man.
Girl.
So when so when I say a good leader outside of the cheating, right? And there was times in our relationship I went years without doing anything.
Donald Trump, don't do that.
No, damn that.
Because you just said something about being a good leader can run his home. How you gonna be? First of all, you don't get to be a pastor and
What are
stand
you
up in
talking
front
about? Run my home, yeah. What did running my home consist of?
I'm
Running
talking
the
about you
house.
being
If
head of
I'm running my
household.
house, what does that consist of?
Being head of household. That's all I'm talking
What
about.
does that consist of? Running my household. Tell me what that consists of.
I need to hear this.
Okay. It's gonna go back to the word, so
Of course, that's all you know.
yeah, you're
And there's nothing
responsible.
wrong with it. You ain't got to explain that. There's nothing wrong with that.
You're responsible for the protection of the family
I've done that.
scripturally, and you're responsible for teaching the family scripturally. You're
Teaching them
responsible
Bible verses, teaching them church, or what do you mean teaching them scripturally?
teaching the scriptures. Like I said before,
Okay.
I'm supposed to be able to come to you or the kids and go, "Hey, Dad, listen,
Okay.
me and
We are talking about what it takes to run the household.
baby, that's all part of
Okay.
it."
So basically, it's just Christianity. Period.
Okay, that's a quick way of putting it. Christianity, the finances, the like I said, the protection, the discipline,
Okay. So the
the
protection
health.
scripturally, the
No,
finances scripturally.
no. You said Christianity, and I said, okay, that's a quick way to put that, so we can put that on over here on the shelf.
Okay.
Now I'm saying all
Protection.
those. Yes.
Right? Protection. Nobody came in my house. Nobody disrespected my kids. And the woman that I was married to, anybody that ran up on them, I protected the household. So my house was 100% protected. Financially,
No, the house is not 100% protected.
Wait, so you feel like outside of you cheating on her, you were
protecting her?
No.
Absolutely not.
I
You
was protecting her,
were
not telling her. She didn't know. When she don't know, don't hurt, right?
Where is Kevin?
When she don't know, don't hurt, right? Hey, but Kev don't believe in monogamy though. On his side, her side, yes, he believes in monogamy. You weren't here
pause.
from the beginning.
Mallory,
What you mean on his side, but not on her side?
in other
Meaning
words,
you can have multiple wives, but your wives, so they just like sister wives, or they just chilling in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, bob your head, nigga.
Listen to that music. Over there listening to Kirk Franklin.
Yeah.
So it's okay for you. So none of your wives are interacting with one another.
What we talking about hypothetically? What we
No, we're
talking?
talking about Damon said presently now you believe in polygamy on your end, but not on her end. So you can have you don't mind you're gonna have the multiple wives, but none of your wives are interacting with one another sexually.
Um, nah,
Oh, that's what he said.
that's not what I designed it to be. Not no big orgy or no, you know what I'm saying, type of way where I can get, my personal orgy every night. If that's what
Oh
you're
no, I don't
asking,
think polygamy
no.
is all about sex anyway. Not that's not what I was insinuating at all.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we saying? Like, are you just asking, can the women that I deal with have multiple husbands?
Or see
That's
other
a
men.
that's a big no. That's a big no.
Or see other women.
That's a big no. I mean, the women that we bring in to what we have going on, is this is a family, sister, tribe type of environment. So that's what we creating. We're
It's your
not
community, your
creating.
family.
Yeah, we creating something that's structured. We're not just out here. You date who you want to date. You doing what you want to do. And once again, everybody got a choice. So that's how it will work in my structure, the way that I'm coming now. I can't
Your
say that it wouldn't
dynamic.
change. Yeah, my dynamic. I wouldn't say that it wouldn't be able to change in the future. Maybe I would get into it and then something would change down the line. But as of now, yeah, that's it. I don't believe in a woman having multiple partners. I don't even think that's healthy, safe, um, or conducive to anything structural or positive. So we can't compare. Women like to say, well, how can you do it but I can't? We're not
Hmm.
doing that. We're not doing that. We're not doing no
I
tit
mean,
for
unless you're
tat. And
dating individually, of course. But if you're not dating individually, that's not how your dynamic is set up. Then absolutely not.
correct, correct. That's
Right.
not what we're doing. So
But did
and
you
I
know
just don't.
there is a tribe in Africa where it's one woman and multiple husbands?
I do
Yeah,
know
they have
that,
that
and
too.
I'm glad. I mean, I know that polyandry is a real
That's
thing.
polyamory. Yep, there you go.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So, that works for who it works for. I
I'm
know a
about to say,
couple.
Hmm.
not for me.
I know a couple that I actually admire. Um, and that's how they rock. She has multiple husbands. He has
Uh-huh.
multiple wives, and it works
Hmm.
for them. They are very successful. They write books. They are into marriage counseling. They have classes. They're millionaires or very
Uh-huh.
wealthy. I ain't counting their pockets, but they're very wealthy. They help people all over the country, all over the world. You know what I'm saying? And they believe in the Most High, and they have healthy kids. They have raised healthy kids and made plenty of.
I need
You
their
know what I'm
contact
saying?
information.
Yeah, I
They
could lick you in with them, but I mean it works for them, and I admire their relationship. So
hmm
it's not that I don't believe in monogamy, right? That's what Damon said. It's not that I don't believe in monogamy. I believe that for some people, a lot of people, monogamy works. You know what I'm saying? I'm just honest enough to say what it is that I want, right? And I'm saying that, hey, forget how everybody says it's supposed to go and what everybody else is doing. I'm
hmm
gonna be honest and say, hey, you are my wife, but I do want more than one woman, right? And I understand if that
hmm
doesn't work for you, and no, you're not gonna be able to have multiple husbands or multiple boyfriends, right? So if you feel like that's selfish or that's not fair or whatever, I totally understand, and you have a choice to keep it pushing, and so do I.
So are your okay? So you tell your wife that you are my wife, but you desire other women, right, or multiple women, or you want to have relations with other women. Is she included in this, or is it just you and these other women, and then your wife is just there?
I think I know what you're asking. My
So
wife
if
is a
your
part
wife
of the
name is
dynamic.
Nicole and you dating if your wife name is Nicole, but you're dating Ashley, but Nicole knows about Ashley, is Ashley and Nicole also in this dynamic with you, or are you or is Nicole here and Ashley's here and
Well, the
everybody knows
idea,
about one another?
well, ideally, excuse me for a second. Ideally, right? We would all be one big happy family. So
Oh,
ideally,
okay.
that is the goal. You know what I'm saying? Yes.
Okay.
And Mallory, just to get clarification, when he says marriage, it's a bond.
You don't.
It's
We
not
don't
like
have to do
dating
that.
now.
See.
Oh
You
no
see.
no no! I
What
wasn't trying
See.
happened?
to
Yeah,
be
I'm
funny.
lost. What happened?
No no, I
See.
wasn't trying to be funny, Kevin. That's why I said it's not what he said. He doesn't subscribe to the social construct of marriage with the paper and the contract and signing and with a preacher or a judge or whatever. He
Mm-hmm.
doesn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted you to understand it's not a traditional marriage.
Oh, I mean,
No, I
But
okay.
was just
it wasn't traditional once we brought in more than one woman in the first place. That's why I
right.
was like, why do we have to do that? Because my point is this, Miss Mia. This is what I was saying was like, no, we don't have to do that because when you throw that out there, now you discredit in a way, right? You discredit what I got going on in a way because you making it known like, hey, just to put it out there, they're not legally married. Why does that matter? Why would that need to be said?
Because
Because
that goes
the
back.
only
That
reason.
goes because that will go back to Mia's beliefs. What we had just discussed. I don't know if you were listening or not, but that will go back to Mia's belief because everything that we talk about, Mia reverts it back to how she's structured with the
Yes.
Bible.
Yeah.
And the
Right.
only
And
It's
reason.
so
not
that's a
I
great
discrediting.
point.
understand what
That's the
Kevin is saying too. I understand what Kevin is saying too, to a point where just because you have your belief doesn't mean that his beliefs is any less.
No,
But
as a co-host, if Mallory had been here at the beginning when all of that was said, I wouldn't have said anything. I meant
mhm.
zero disrespect because Mallory has a totally different lifestyle than
No,
Damon and I.
baby,
So
that's not how you took it as a disrespect.
Don't be talking about my business.
no, no,
What
I'm
it,
just saying.
hold on.
Oh,
What
go
it
ahead.
is that like we don't know what Mallory believe in when you say marriage. Mallory could believe the way Mia thinks when it comes to marriage, or she
Yeah.
could believe what you believed in when it comes to your form of marriage. So somebody can say, like, if me and you, if I jumped in that conversation, when you said marriage, that's the first thing I thought about is in front of the
A
judge signing
traditional,
papers.
yeah. So I
But she's
didn't
letting me
know.
know that no, that's not to put it on to let know that's not what he subscribed to. So now we have
Right.
an understanding.
Yeah,
So
I figured that I understood that when he was talking.
Well, I
okay, see,
figured you
I
did.
didn't
That's
know
why I
because
didn't
had
say
it
nothing.
been me, I would have thought because at all this time when he was saying his wife, I'm thinking his wife. Like I'm a wife. That's what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight's the first time I found out that's not what he means.
No,
Mm-hmm.
that's my point is that's exactly what I mean. She's exactly a wife, just the way that you're a wife. The only
No,
thing that is different is a piece of paper. That's it.
then it's not
Mm-hmm.
exactly the same. It's different.
Why? Mia, why?
No,
He just
it's
said because of the paper. That's
the
what
paper.
makes it different.
But no,
Legally,
I'm saying about her being a wife. She's a wife the same way that you're a wife. The only thing different about her being a wife and you being a wife is that you have a piece of paper that says you're a wife. That's the only difference. But
and the
you
law
said
recognizes me as a wife. That's all I mean. So it's
right.
not
So
the
when
exact same thing. It's different. You can
okay,
still say she's your wife. I'm not taking that from you, and I will never treat her like she's not your wife. I would never do that. I don't get down like that.
no,
But
it's
what
not
I'm
even
saying is you can't say
okay.
it's the exact same thing and then say the only difference is. No, there is a difference.
Listen, what I'm
Because
saying. I'm not
okay,
disagreeing with you that the paper makes it different. We agree that, right? What
right.
I'm saying that is exactly the same. The statement that you made was, I thought she was a wife like me. And I'm
Yes.
saying she is a wife like you, Miss Mia. There's no
No, because she
difference
doesn't
in the way that she's a wife and that you're a wife. The paper doesn't make you a wife, though. That was the conversation we was having earlier. You could have a piece of paper. You
mm-hmm,
could live in the same household, and me and
mm-hmm.
my wife cannot have a piece of paper and be in the same household, and we can be more married than you with your piece of paper.
Not
So the
according to the
paper is
law. No.
well, see, you once again you're putting it on the law, and then you're putting it on the Bible, right? And I'm
Right.
saying that I don't believe the same way as you. So
Right.
therefore, so she's gonna be so the way I believe, she's a wife just like you are. The paper doesn't make her any less of a wife than you.
Legally and scripturally, for my
It, that
belief, it makes it different. I'm not saying that she's not a
which doesn't
wife to you. Oh, go ahead.
which no, I'm saying which doesn't make it so just because you believe that. So when you say she's
Yeah,
not a wife like me, and I say yes she is, who's right, who's wrong?
it depends on the person.
So if I'm the person in the marriage and she's the person in the marriage, and we both say that she is, who are you to say that she's not?
The
Hmm.
same way you can say that she is. I have that right. I don't have to agree with it,
No, no, that's the point. You don't have to agree with it,
and
but
you
you
don't
don't
have
get
to
the
agree with me.
yes, ma'am. But you don't get to constitute what is a marriage just because of what you believe. That's what I'm saying in someone else's dynamic. So if I say she's a wife just like you, then you can't say no, she's not. I can say yes, she is. There's no difference just because you have a piece of paper in her being a wife. Now,
But
when you
I
okay,
think that's where we're getting. I think that's where maybe I'm getting it confused. So
No, I
because
think it's
I'm
just the
speaking,
principle of it's the principle of position and paper. That's what we're looking at right now. We're looking at position and we're looking at paper. His position, his wife's position is his wife. She is his wife. Your position
right.
is you are a wife, but you are saying that it's more you're more of a wife because it's legally bonded by a piece of paper. But
In
that doesn't take away her
my
but
opinion, which is like butthole.
right.
Everybody got one.
In your
Hmm.
opinion, you're more of a wife because you have a piece of paper. But what he's saying is that still does not take away her position, whether she has that paper or not.
No, and I'm not taking that from him. I'm saying he has
Right?
every right to that. Yeah, I'm not disputing that.
So
But
what are you disputing?
just like he, okay,
yeah, that would be my question then, because that's what I was asking. If that's not what you're saying, or if that's not a position you're taking, why even bring it up? That's what I was asking.
no, no, no. The position, I still feel like there's a difference. That's not going to change for me. You feel like there is no difference. That's not going to change for you. That's okay. I felt like it was important, as being one of the co-hosts, I felt like it was important to get that point across to I didn't know Mallory knew what you were talking about, only because she wasn't here at the beginning. That is the only reason I brought that up. Please
Well,
Well,
it
I
was a
believe
think
me, I
comment
it's
that he
meant
had
zero
made when he was
disrespect to her.
talking. He had said it just now when he was talking. That's why I was like, okay, I know what he was talking about because he had mentioned it. I wasn't here for the
He,
beginning, but when we were talking just now, he had said that.
he said what?
When what you said he said earlier when we were just talking just now about the whole situation, he had
Uh,
mentioned that, which is why I was like, okay, now I mean I understood what he was saying, but you
that's what I'm saying.
had
He mentioned what?
go ahead, sis.
That was it. He said that was his wife.
Yeah, but then he also explained what he preferred, like as far as his dynamic and what he believes in and what he wants. That's when I started asking him direct questions. He kind of said that, so I understood what he was saying.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. I didn't know that you, because he didn't specifically say, yeah, that's my wife. We don't, because he, and when we were talking earlier, he used the term, I don't contrive to the social construct of marriage. That's why
Mm-hmm.
I was telling you that part. So, because that's like having two women say, no, that's my wife. That's what I'm saying. So to me, it's not the same thing. They feel like that in their relationship. I'm never going to trip with anybody about what they're doing in their relationship. But for me, it's not the
So what
same
if they got a
thing.
piece of paper? Is it okay because they got a piece of paper? It's legally bonded, right?
No, because it goes against God's law. So
You're
no.
back on the Bible, right?
Yeah.
right.
But I'm never going to treat them any differently. I'm not going to be, because listen, that's between them and God. I ain't got nothing to do. Listen, I live in an entire glass house. I'm not fixing to throw stones at nobody. That is not my place. Not gonna do it.
And don't the
But
Bible
it
say we
doesn't
all
mean
don't the Bible say we all his kids and he love us no matter what?
no. No.
I'm just saying.
And just because I disagree does not mean I don't love that
I know
particular
you
person.
love me, girl.
Girl, I will kill a dead snake behind you
I know
and
you
a
love
few
me.
live ones. Yes, you
All
are my
right,
baby.
family. All right, family. We've been on there almost 2-3 hours, so you know how it
I'll
goes.
wait for y'all have to put your input in because you always got something to say.
Yeah, always. That's why I started this
Talk about this,
podcast. Because I always got something to say.
these dynamics. I was just waiting.
Wait a
Well,
minute.
see, you weren't here in the beginning because I
We're
told
gonna
Mia,
change your name.
huh?
We're gonna change the name of the show.
To what?
What?
We always got something to say.
I do. I always got something to say.
Always got something to say.
But I
That's the
told
What'd you
Mia
say,
in the
name
Damon?
beginning of the
of the
About the
name.
relationship.
what'd you say, Damon, about the beginning of the conversation?
Yeah, I told Mia when we started having that conversation about the poly thing, I said I believe a big chunk of men in this world, if they knew they had the opportunity to have a second wife or have a wife and have other on the side, a big chunk of men would do it.
And Mallory,
And
Damon
then
said he would do it.
she asked me what I've done it. I was like, yeah. I mean, I don't think I
you've
would
done
do
it
it.
before.
Yeah, I don't think, but I mean, with knowledge, knowing that it's okay is what I mean. Like, it's the woman is not for the trip at all.
I mean, you have. I've seen
No,
it.
no.
I grew
Oh
up
Yeah,
yeah, I
with I
have. I
grew
sure
up
have.
with that. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah,
yeah,
Which is
you
why I keep
did.
telling you I am the way I am because of how I was raised,
yeah,
what I
yeah.
saw growing up.
So you
Yeah.
led her astray, Damon.
But I wasn't married to. I wasn't married to any of those women that I did that to.
You were not married, but you had your main,
Yeah, I had my main and I had
and
others. You know,
she accepted the rest of them.
she had no choice but to accept it.
I've
No,
seen all of
she
this.
had a choice. She
Well,
could have
yeah, she
left.
did. She did. She could.
Yeah.
I take that back. You're right. She
So
had a choice.
I grew up around all of that.
Yeah. So yeah.
But see, for me, it was completely different.
Yeah, but I grew up around what you grew up around with Mia, like the foster homes I've been in. It was a husband and a wife. That was it. It was no extras, no none of that. And if it was, nobody else knew about it, not the kids.
So what happened
You
to
know what I
you?
mean?
How'd you go astray?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
He for them streets.
Community.
I don't know. You know what? I was like the ugly kid. Nobody wanted to touch me. Nobody wanted to talk to me. Nobody wanted to be a part of me. And I developed some game somewhere, and I got my first piece, and I went buck wild. I wasn't trying to tie myself down with nothing. I was like the podcast that
He's a hoe.
yeah, the podcast that I listened to, it was saying that women are born with their value. So you were born a millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
Men wasn't. We have to earn our value. Women, the explanation that he gave is women are in a candy store already. So you can pick and choose what you want to eat. You know, it's no big old deal. But then a man, as soon as he finally get in that store, because he earned his way to that store, he don't know what came. He trying to try everything all at once because we had to work to get that. And then now you want me to be monogamous to one woman? I worked my butt to get here till I can have a choice to do what I want to do.
So let me ask you this. That's actually a good point. How did you end up with just one?
What the hell did I look for, dog? Okay, so here's the thing. 90% of why men are monogamous to one woman is because the woman that they end up choosing to be with will not accept him having more than one woman. And for some reason, at that point, he fell in love with this woman and he wants to be with her. And if he wants to be with her, he has to stick to one woman.
Okay, so men who
So
are
basically,
not
you're saying
monogamous, are
me
they
and you
in love with
changed
their
him. That's what
women?
it sounds like.
Yes.
Oh, wait, what?
I said, it sound like you just he fell in love with you. You changed. You had something that You know,
No, because a
was
man can
still.
still be in love with his wife and still have sex with somebody else.
Yeah.
I'm talking about y'all. She's asked you personally though. How did you just end up with one? Meaning, how did you end up with Mia? And I just said because
No. You don't, because I've been with one woman before. Was it?
No, no,
Are you
no. But
asking me
I'm
with you, Mia?
asking you. Mallory was right. I was specifically asking you that before you fell in love with me.
oh, okay.
How did you end up with just one woman?
Meaning you, right?
Yes.
Because I fell in love with you,
That's what I just.
I
That's what I was just saying.
and no, hold on. And I know you're not going for me having no women on the side or having no sister wives in the house. I know you're not going for that.
So did you settle?
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in that particular situation, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Me
No,
being
no.
with her, me being with her was more important than having extra wives.
Mm-hmm. But that's not what you. That wasn't. Well, that's not what you desired.
I don't even think it's about a desire thing. It's just most men would do that if they had the opportunity to do that.
We're talking specifically about you, boo.
But I told you if I had to, right now I wouldn't do it only because I'm too old and tired and knees hurt and I'm dealing with one
What
and
y'all
dealing with.
knees got? Shut up. Anyway.
Hey, I'm sitting here with a hot pack on my knee right now,
But you could have a nice, sexy, hot,
and I hurt my
smart
knee doing grown up things.
21-year-old rubbing your knee for you right now.
He bring a 21-year-old. I'm gonna sock him in his throat. Anyway,
Why?
Okay,
he too old for that shit.
35, 40,
No, I'm not.
whatever. You could
No,
have
I'm
Nigga,
not.
you
another
almost
woman.
60. Talk about a 21. You know what? Nope, we not even about to go there. Anyway, Mia, that's because he loved you and you changed him.
But I'm saying before, because he's saying now that if the opportunity were granted, he would do it.
I
No,
mean,
but in the probably the beginning of our marriage, like the first 2 years, if you said, "Hey, I give you that, we can have a sister wife," yeah, I'd have jumped on that. I'd have jumped on that.
And for me,
10
had
years
I
ago.
no, I know, but if I had known that then, I don't know that we would have gotten married, because to me that's unequally yoked, because your heart and your desires are they don't or the way that I look at a relationship, they didn't line up. I didn't know that.
Oh, I'm glad
But
y'all didn't have that conversation.
I
listen,
know, right?
it's not that it didn't. Listen, it's not that it didn't line up, but like I say, I kind of agree with Kevin in a certain aspect of that. I mean, if you roll with the Bible, yes, you are supposed to be monogamous with one woman.
Don't
You know,
somebody
that's
in the Bible got multiple wives too?
a bunch
There's
of
a
them
few
got multiple
people,
wives in the Bible.
but that's not what God designed.
Then
So
why it's in the book?
dinosaurs aren't in the book, but they existed. What are you talking about?
Girl, it's a whole nother conversation. It's a whole nother, and this is why you got so many people with different outlooks and different opinions, because it's too much. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much.
but
It's too
but
much.
It's
if
too
you look
much.
at everything, that supposedly what God said in the Bible, he's never said it was okay to have multiple wives.
He
Because
never said that he never said it wasn't okay.
That it wasn't.
he did.
Yeah.
He did. He
Point
said
it out.
Where? Because
I'm
I
about to go
gave
grab
you a
my
verse.
computer.
I was gonna say I could grab you a verse where he could say where it says that you can have more than one wife. I got
Oh,
the, I got it.
That's why I said
You
I
know
thought
I
it was in
got
the
it, D.
Bible.
if you have a verse that said that God said we can have more than one wife, I would
Let me
love
go
to
get my
see
computer.
that.
All right, hold on. Give me a second. I'm working on it.
both of them heathens ran off.
You see what I'm saying?
I got my computer.
And was this Old Testament or New Testament? Was this before or
Okay,
after?
don't start. Don't
No,
start me.
no. That's legit. Was it before or after Christ? Because there was a whole lot of stuff. We used to have to sacrifice animals. We don't have to do that anymore because of what Christ did for us. And Damon.
You ready? Y'all ready?
Yep.
2 Samuel 12:8 says, "And I gave you your master's house and your master's wives into your arms, and gave you the house of Israel and of Judah." You want more? Because
Yes.
it's a lot more.
Mm-hmm. He said he gave you somebody else's wives.
So
Wives,
the Bible doesn't
plural.
listen.
No, that's what I said. I said wives.
Yeah, the
Plural.
Bible doesn't explicitly condemn polygamy, but
Thank you.
it does make it clear that God's ideal for marriage is one man and one woman. The Bible does. Let's see. The Bible does record examples of polygamy amongst prominent men in the Old Testament, such as Abraham, Jacob, David, and Solomon. However, the Bible shows that polygamy was a social I can't pronounce that word.
Here I come.
A social something.
Social where
Geology. I think that's what that is.
Where? Sociological disaster
that cause heartbreak and family discord.
But now this is the thing, because remember I was saying something earlier about cherry picking?
Mm-hmm.
You can't subscribe to this and then the scripture he gave you for accountability on husbands, you're like, no, that's not what that says. Well, that's clearly what it says.
No, he says we hold the key to a successful marriage, but that doesn't mean that if the marriage failed, I'm at fault for the marriage failing. Because I can hold the key to whatever I have, but if the person is not willing to follow that key or work with that key, how am I responsible for that person's mishaps or that person's dedication that she or he does not want to be involved in that? That's my point I was trying to make. I didn't say that I'm totally unfault from it. But if I'm doing everything biblically like the Bible says, and I did everything, how is it the man's or the husband's fault that the wife decided to leave? If she's doing everything that she's supposed to do and he leaves, how is she at fault that he left?
She's not. He is, because he's head of household. Listen,
I'm not cherry picking. If that's what the scripture he read, if that, like, you'd have to go in a deep dive. So if that actually means I hold the key to a successful marriage, so even though I have the key and the marriage failed, then I have to take responsibility because it's somewhere I messed up, even if I follow it to a T.
If a company fails, who gets the blame for the company failing?
The CEO.
Even though he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, but the company failed. Mm-hmm. The CEO is still responsible for the failure of the company. If the company succeeds, the CEO is getting all the praise for it. That's all that means.
Right. But
if the marriage succeeds.
But if the CEO fails, so somebody robbed the whole company right from under him. Mm-hmm. Right? And he probably didn't see it coming, no matter how diligent he stayed on working. If I know you on this, I'm gonna be on this. When I know you on this, I'm finna be on this. So I'm not. Sometimes it won't be accurate. Some things you just don't find out right away.
I get that.
And it doesn't mean that you failed at your job. Somebody else outsmarted you, and you lost it. But then even if the company is a success, I don't understand why the CEO gets all the glory when it took more than just the CEO.
Because he's the head.
I understand
he's the one that's responsible.
Okay, then I left that conversation long ago. Okay. Let it go a long time ago.
I'm gonna let Lila in the house. I'll be back, y'all.
What did you find, Mallory?
Oh, I got totally distracted because y'all start talking about some other stuff again.
You still on the same thing, woman. All right. So, what you doing, Kev? Eating? I saw a little brown bag in your hand a minute ago.
Nah, I ain't eating, man. I'm over here with my partner. Finna kick it with
Oh,
my
okay.
partner. Yep.
Okay.
I was finna let him start hearing the podcast and chiming in, but I see you finna wrap it up though.
No, I'm about to say,
We
go and
got
let him
at
come
least
in.
another. We got at least another 10, 15 minutes. I try to keep it under 2 to 3 hours, but sometimes it's hard
I'll
to
have
get
to
off
chop
because the
this one up.
conversation be getting good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's more than welcome. If you want to get on his own line, you know how to do that. Just send me his email.
Oh yeah. I don't know if he wanted to get in. We just getting in, so I was just gonna let him tune in to what we was talking about
Yeah.
on my end.
Oh, but it is about to be 3 hours coming, and I anything anybody want to bring up? If not, we will go ahead and shut it down, and
No,
we'll
I gotta
start
finish
back.
cleaning up my kitchen and putting up food.
I mean, hey, I told you,
You
my rules.
you
You
gotta go
can't do.
finish your job.
Yes.
Yeah, if you can't do more
My
than you can't do more than
responsibilities.
if you can't do more than one thing at the same time, something got to go.
I did. I washed the dishes. Now I gotta rinse them and I gotta put the food up.
But we don't normally get off when the show is over. I just end the session. We can still talk, but as far as the podcast is concerned, I think we made some pretty good points. I got to see some things differently than what I normally see. You know what I mean? So I always say it's always a good learning experience when you talk and have more than one person because you get to hear more than one
Point
what's
of
the word
view.
I'm looking for? Yeah, more than one point of view and perspective of a situation. And it doesn't necessarily mean everybody's mind is going to get changed. I watch podcasts all day. And I hear, I heard you in the back of my head, Mia.
That's
And,
my boo.
and the guest,
Ew.
the host of the show tries to dictate what the other person is saying and keep cutting them off and I don't want to be a host like that. I really want to give people the opportunity to express the way they feel. I'm passionate about everything I do, but I don't want people to think I'm getting offended or I'm angry. That's just how I get. I get real. I'm like, what? You tripping? That's just me. I just think that's good for what I do as far as this podcast. My co-host, Mrs. Rose, she get down with me. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna get better at this as we go along.
Absolutely.
And we've been faithful. We've been here every Monday for the past 4 Mondays, 3 Mondays.
Yeah, no matter how tired
like
I
4.
am.
Yeah, and like I said, everybody that's been on the show already, everybody gets a invite to the show at the beginning. Before I start the show, I send emails out to everybody that I had emails. And if you're watching and you just go check your email. If you given me an email before, just go check it. Oh, he did. I want to get on. I got something to say. That's what it is. That's what it's about. Having
And
something
just
to
so
say.
y'all know, when we come back next Monday, Damon's other wife will be here. He's gonna have both of us on here.
Huh?
That's what I'm. Me got
What?
a corny sense of humor, man. You know that.
Kevin got it. Thank you, Kevin.
What just happened?
I said next Monday when we come back, the second wife will be here. Damon's other wife.
Yep, and when we get off the podcast, I'm gonna let the air out of her.
Oh my God.
That was him going there with that one. I was.
She gonna be sitting right next to me like this.
Okay, it's super creepy that you know what that dog looks like. You shouldn't know that. You shouldn't know it that well.
I watch a lot of stuff, Mia. I
Yeah,
swear.
right. Yeah,
You know
right.
what? I swear. Before we really did this podcast, I was going through YouTube, looking at different stuff, getting different perspectives, and listening and looking at some of that stuff that just makes no freaking sense whatsoever. I mean, it all started before it was Kevin Samuels that got me pumped with the podcast. Listen to all the stuff he says, and then I started getting into Fresh and Fit, Ab and Preach. You know what I'm saying? MDR. So there was a lot of people, and it's some of the women that I listen to that do podcasts.
Wait, don't forget about whatever.
Oh, the whatever podcast. Yeah, I still
Whatever.
watch them faithfully. And then there's women that do podcasts and they telling us how are trying to tell other women that what men like, but you're single. you are on our side, but you are single. You don't have a man. You don't have a husband, and you're telling us. Are you telling us? I don't understand how women think like that, and men are this, and men are this, and men are that.
Wait, so
But
because
the whole
somebody's
time
single,
you've been
then
on
they just
but
because
the whole
somebody's
time
single.
you've been doing your podcast, as far as I know, you've been single.
Mallory, that's kind of like somebody who don't have no kids trying to tell somebody else how to raise their kids. Wait, you don't do nothing with kids.
There was a lady on the podcast, whatever podcast, it was two of them, and they don't got no kids, but they talking about how to raise a kid. You know where they get their reference from?
What?
Being paid to babysit. They were calling me mom.
So you saying because you don't have no biological children, that don't make you a parent?
No.
You telling me how to raise a child and you don't have any biological kids.
No, you telling me how to raise children and you don't have any kids. They don't have to be biological because they can be your stepchildren. They can be your adopted children. They can be your foster children. So just because that statement I made was for people who don't have children at all. And you gonna sit up and try to tell me how to raise kids. Let's say my kids were 3 and 4. And then somebody comes to me and starts saying something about a teenager. I don't know nothing about raising no teenager. I ain't never had one. My kids are 3 and 4. How am I tell you how to raise a teenager? I ain't never had one. I don't know. I haven't experienced that. So I can't say anything.
But you said so you can be a parent and not have biological children.
Absolutely.
So you can have an opinion and don't have to be married to have an opinion. Because you've been through it, because you've experienced it already, right?
If you've been through it and you've experienced it, you can speak on it.
That's not what y'all said.
No, that's not what he said. That is what I said.
What did I say?
Wait, baby. I'm sorry. Did that bus hurt?
What do you think I said?
That you have made a statement about the women who are sitting up, basically single women telling other women how to get a man and they don't have no man.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't. What kind of advice can you give to somebody about how to get a man and you are single?
And you yourself don't have one. I mean, that makes sense. How you gonna tell me?
Because if you know all these secrets about men, you should have a man by now.
Maybe she just don't want one.
Then why are you still conversating? That's something, that topic you shouldn't be talking about, I think.
You ask for my opinion. Just because I don't want a man don't mean I ain't got no opinion.
Well, you've been with a man, so it's different.
I've been with men and women, so it don't matter.
If you only been with women, what can you tell me about a dude? You can't tell me relationships about a man and a woman having a relationship. You can't tell me nothing about that because it's not the same dynamics.
You said if she's never been with a man ever in her whole entire existence.
If you've never been with a man, never had a physical, emotional relationship with a man, as far as a relationship concerned, honestly, what can you tell me?
Uh-oh. Did she freeze?
I don't know. I think we're finna play the Jeopardy music. Get it ready, Kevin. I mean,
I was looking at your mama.
I seen that. I was like, who's this nigga hooking up all on my mama?
Whoever she was in Colombia with.
All
Anyway.
right, family. What we gonna do right now, we want to thank everybody that showed up. We want to thank all our guests that popped up. We'll be back next Monday, 8 o'clock Georgia time. On the what is this? The East Coast? Mm-hmm. What is this? Yeah, this is the East Coast.
Yeah.
And then if you're in Cali, West Coast, it's gonna be about 5 o'clock your time. We appreciate, we love you. Family is important. relationships is important, and we just want everybody to know that. I want to thank my co-host, my beautiful wife, Mia Rose, my guest, Kevin, Mallory. Thank y'all for showing up.
Appreciate you.
I'm gonna try to be
Most
here at
definitely
5
appreciate
o'clock
you for
next
having
Monday.
me. I appreciate the conversation.
Absolutely.
What'd you say, Mal?
I said I'm gonna try to be here on time next Monday.
Most definitely.
I
Okay.
always come in like an hour and a half later. I be at work
Yeah,
though. Well,
yeah.
yeah, I be at
As far
work.
as the
So
panel, we don't have to get off, but I'm just going to end the session. We're going
Okay.
to end the live right now, and you guys stay up. Peace, love, and all the hair grease you need.
Bye.
Wish I had an exit intro.
It's called an outro.
Yeah, that too.